Just in a non-contact jersey today as he progresses through concussion protocol. Coach Brian Daboll said they're optimistic Neighbors will be able to play this weekend.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a good afternoon to you. Welcome to the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Alabama, Tennessee, it's a big week. It is a cigar game that Kalen DeBoer spoke about earlier this week. So hopefully we can give you guys an excuse to get those cigars out. We're going to be live at R&R Cigars pretty much the entire day tomorrow for Tide 100.9. I know Gary's going to be there. Wyatt's going to be there. I'm going to be there tomorrow afternoon. R&R Cigars, one of our great sponsors, 2703 6th Street in downtown Tuscaloosa. We'll be there with a broadcast. And, hey, if you come by, say hello to us. And, hey, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun as we get you ready for Alabama, Tennessee. We'll have a big show today. Also, Aaron Torres is going to be with us. We will continue a Southern Ale House score prediction day. Let me go to the news of the day. Kalen DeBoer on the SEC teleconference this morning at around 11:30 is his time, and he revealed that Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice have both been kind of he declared them probable. Now we'll wait for the official injury report. You know, maybe they respond a little different after practice. Maybe they're better. Maybe they're not as good. We'll get that official 7:00. So be watching on our Twitter page, Facebook account. We'll try to update the SEC availability around 7, usually 7:05, I think is when it's usually somewhere. It's set to release at 7, and normally it's a few minutes after the SEC gets everything and compiles all the probable. But Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice probable as Alabama heads to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll talk about it with Aaron Torres. We're also going to dive into another couple of conversations with ProFootballFocus.com. We're going to do that, and we'll take your scores on a Southern Ale House score prediction day. Southern Ale House, 2 locations here in Tuscaloosa serve you. The original location, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, Monday through Saturday. Lunch and dinner options. And Dockside is closed on Mondays, dinner on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then lunch and dinner options both Thursday, Friday, Saturday, brunch on Sunday until 4:00. And you can find our great friends right there with some great seafood entrees. I know Brett Garner's been cooking up some big gumbo up there with a little Conecuh sausage, a little smoked chicken, little gumbo. And hey, last night when you walked out, a little football weather for you. That I don't know. It's just something about this time of the year, right? Leaves are changing. The butt whippings coming to the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, looking at y'all's predictions yesterday, some of you are a little nervous, little anxiety. I've seen that word even used more so. I had a lot of fun yesterday listening to Tony Franklin. If you missed that, go back and listen to it. Tide109.com on the podcast page. Tony Franklin, former offensive coordinator, former offensive mind. He's coached in the SEC, coached across the state. And as he explained there and there, he said, lose to Vanderbilt and you get fired a couple of days afterwards. That's what happened to me. He said, we lost to Vanderbilt and we got fired. So he shared some thoughts about Alabama's defense. He shared some thoughts about the Alabama offense. You almost wonder, okay, here's hopefully where they take it together. And you saw a relaxed Kalen DeBoer. You know, coming out of that Vanderbilt loss, listen, he's not immune to all the noise, right? You lose to Vanderbilt, you get a reaction. Last Monday, you could tell he was a little uptight. I wonder if that's the way his football team coached, a little bit played a little bit uptight. So just the way that, you know, he reacted to it. But hey, coach, this is a tough job. This is a tough job. It is a job not only, and I think Tony Franklin even said this as well, of following the legend. The hardest job in the country is to follow Coach Nick Saban, because Coach Saban did something. He created a level of expectation, and not just here for Alabama. See, the problem with Coach Saban is he created expectations for everybody, because Ohio State said, hey, why can't we go win back-to-back? Why can't we go win 3 in a row? Or not 3 in a row, but 3 out of the last 4. We didn't win 3 in a row. We tried a couple times, right? But if you look at, looking at Nick Saban, he changed this goal of winning national titles multiple times, right? Just every other year, go collect one. And I heard Josh Pate talking about, realistically, in the world of college football, it's really only fair expectations when you go and get one every 10 years, right? That's what real college football. Now, what this new college football is going to bring, I don't think it's going to be possible to go win back-to-back. I think that ship has sailed. I don't know how you're going to manage the roster, how you're going to be able to manage all this. First-year sample size, it's a little wacko, right? It is. And I think when you look at Tony Franklin yesterday, I learned a lot in that about 15 minutes of him just sharing his thoughts. But when he went into, hey, I've never seen it as chaotic as it is right now. That's coming from a coaching perspective. And he said, hey, if you're Vanderbilt, you love it. If you're Alabama, you hate it. If you're Georgia, you hate it. If you're Ohio State, you hate it. But this is the world. I cannot imagine what the TV ratings are for these games right now. I mean, they've got to be. I saw South Carolina and Alabama just a couple of days ago. The ESPN had released, and Alabama was like the second most watched. Now let me also say this. Anytime Alabama has a chance to lose, the world tunes in, right? Because they want to see the king fall to the ground. They want to see it happen. They want to see Alabama roll. But I saw behind behind Oregon and Ohio State, Alabama was like the second most watched game in college football last weekend. And I'm going South Carolina, 11 a.m. That's not even possible, is it?
It makes sense. Everybody tunes in.
They want to see Alabama get kicked in the teeth.
It's the same way when people would like to tune in when Tom Brady was down.
That's right. That's a good point. Everybody, they never liked the king, But hey, Alabama, I don't think they're going anywhere. But I will tell you that Coach Kalen DeBoer was named to the Coach Bryant Award watch list earlier today. It was a little bit of fun there for putting that up on Facebook and seeing people react. You guys have already counted him out. I guess he's going to have to get one of those Lank T-shirts. Let all the naysayers know. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The injury report about Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice was made possible by Blue Spring Living Water, Numa, which is the oxygenated water that you can find at a couple of different places, but you can also order it. Blue Spring Living Water, BlueSpringLivingWater.com. Blue Spring Living Water, 300 years in the making from source to sip. Kobe Prentice probable, Kendrick Law probable. We'll get an official, like I said, injury report coming up later this evening. Kalen DeBoer Show will air right here from Bob Baumhauer's in Tuscaloosa. We will air that starting at 6 p.m. with a Hey Coach portion from 6 to 6:30, 6:30 until 7:30. Chris Stewart, Kalen DeBoer, and did not see the guest this week. I haven't seen it as of yet, but they'll usually have a player up there. I'm trying to think if there's one that might be from Tennessee that you could kind of put up there to. And you may not want to do that. But, hey, those Tennessee guys smoking them cigars, we're going to be ready, and we'll do it tomorrow at R&R Cigars. We'll take your scores. We'll take your predictions. We got a little bit of a busy show at the back end.
I don't think it's a DeBoer thing. I mean, I think that's one thing is you could sit here and say, oh, he inherited the most talented roster that's ever been inherited, blah, 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 this and that. I still don't think Jalen Milroe is the perfect quarterback for his system. I still don't think he has the receivers that he's hoping to have. So I'm not making excuses, but what I am saying is, we knew this wasn't going to be easy even when he took the job, and I think it's coming to fruition that in the SEC in this era, every game is going to be a battle for everybody, by the way.
And I heard our friend Josh Pate talking about this, and he really set it up with Nick Saban's to blame for creating all these unreasonable expectations. Because the problem is, if you're married and, the neighbor gets a new cat, then you think you should go get a new cat or a new garage or a new car or whatever. And Nick Saban created this unreasonable expectation of going not just for the Alabama fan base, but for the rest of college football, because Ohio State's going,
yes.
Ryan Day, you need to go win national titles. It's not that easy, even though Coach Nick Saban made it look easy.
You know what's so funny you say that, Ryan?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this this past Saturday. So Alabama barely survives, But there was a moment in the Georgia-Mississippi State game where Georgia did not look good. Now, they ended up pulling away and winning. I forget who else was playing in that 3:30 window. Obviously, Texas was kind of running away with things. But I had that exact thought of Nick Saban. I think he made all of college football think that it's way easier than it actually is. And I mean, again, let's look at Georgia for half a second. And this isn't pick on Kirby Smart Day, but I had this thought, Ryan, is think about what's at stake for Georgia this weekend. And I was just recording a preview of this show right before you called. Think about this, Ryan. If Georgia wins on Saturday, they're probably the number one team in the country come Monday. If they lose, and by the way, they're playing the number one team in the country on the road. Doesn't mean they're bad if they lose. If they lose, they're basically out of the SEC championship picture because they would have head-to-head losses with Bama and Texas, and they would still have Ole Miss and Tennessee on the schedule. So even if they were to win, they need Alabama to lose 2 more times and Texas to lose 3 more times to get in. So that's what's at stake, is they're out of the SEC title picture, and now all of a sudden their playoff picture is very, on the fringes. I mean, look at last year, Michigan, the reigning national champion, and I know you could sit there and say, well, their coach left, but basically everything stayed in place for Michigan. They're not very good right now. And so I just bring it up because I actually had that exact thought, not even from the Alabama perspective, but from the national perspective of the standard of being somewhere between 11-1 and 12-0 every year. And it's just expected that is the window that you're going to be in. Not only is it not going to happen in this coming era, but I also just think it was probably never really realistic ever. But Nick Saban just made it look realistic, even though it probably never should have been.
So, Torres, when you look at this Alabama-Tennessee game, does this grab the national spotlight? I know it's this year, and you've got in one poll, it would be a top 10 matchup. In another poll, Tennessee's right outside of the top 10. But when you look at Alabama and you look at Tennessee from a national perspective, because that's the way you cover this game, even though we have you on every week and we talk Alabama football, what does this game do for the national spotlight? Is this a big one?
Well, it's a huge one. And listen, I'll say this. The Alabama brand is thriving even post-Nick Saban. I mean, you saw the ratings of the Georgia game a few weeks ago. You saw the reaction to Vandy. You saw the reaction to South Carolina. So people care. And I think people care, and by the way, credit to Tennessee. They're doing their part for the first time really outside of 2022. They're doing their part for the first time in a long time. But to me, why it's big is that, again, I go back to what we talked about in the preseason, Ryan, or really over the last couple of weeks, is that I think we all thought, a 12-team, it's going to be like the Oprah meme. Everybody's going to get a spot in the 12-team playoff. And it's like, well, you look at it, Ole Miss is basically out. There's a couple other teams, USC on the West Coast is out, whatever. And for the team that loses this game, we just talked about Georgia. If Georgia loses to Texas, it's going to be hard to run the table and put yourself in position to still get an at-large bid. If you lose this game, there's a lot at stake, and there's a lot at stake for 2 teams that literally 2 weeks ago, literally less than 15 days ago, if you look at a calendar, thought that they were not only in position to make the playoff. I think both fan bases thought we can win this whole freaking thing. So it does have huge stakes. And obviously, look, for a college football audience like yours, like mine, it has even more at stake. But I would also counter that by saying I think on a national level, people are going to be very interested in this game. Huge brands. Tennessee, to their credit, is doing their part. And Alabama, I think, it's almost like the old cliche about, any star athlete or program or the New York Yankees or Notre Dame football. People want to tune in to see them when they're really good. But I think people want to tune in to see if they're going to struggle. Is the standard still there? Is that championship standard still there where you go in and you're back against the wall and win a big game on the road? Or are things slipping, et cetera? I think the nation is going to be very captivated by this game, Ryan. I really do.
All right. Is it a must-win game for Alabama? Because, we saw Ole Miss lose their second game, and now we've kind of put them as the back. And we were talking with an analytics guy yesterday, and he said, I don't think Alabama could lose. I don't think a 9-3 team is getting in. Is now that really has changed from where we were at, because we're all learning. This is a big learning curve. When we go to these playoffs, we don't know if a 9-3.
I disagree with that.
Okay, tell me why.
But it's okay.
Yeah, tell me why.
I think the SEC is too good. I don't think we're going to get. I mean, Ole Miss already has 2 losses.
They do.
Tennessee.
Georgia will have 2 losses after this weekend.
Georgia very well could have 2 losses after this weekend. Tennessee or Alabama is going to have 2 losses after this weekend.
Good point.
By the way, Georgia plays Ole Miss. Georgia plays Tennessee. I just don't know that I see a scenario where we're going to have all this incredible glut of 2-loss teams that allows people to get in. And one thing I will say, the SEC is obviously going to get the benefit of the doubt. So it's not as though a 3-loss Penn State is going to get in over a 3-loss whoever. And so I just think that I do think we'll see probably 1 9-3 team. Obviously, you don't want to test fates and test hopes and hope that you're the exception to the rule. But yeah, I think we'll probably see 1 just because there's too many good teams and there's too many big games. And to a point that you brought up on my show yesterday, there's no division. So Georgia isn't going to coast to 12-0 while Alabama and LSU are battling it out for 10-2. It's just not going to happen in this world. So I would disagree with that, but it's neither here nor there. So.
All right. So Torres, when you look back at this, because I kind of agree with you as your side kind of explaining that. I mean, as you said, Texas is going to take they should be able to beat Georgia. They're the favorite, and that line's really moved. LSU's sitting here with 1 loss, and it's one that's it's got a pretty good blemish. I mean, you do kind of look, and okay, so in minimum, the SEC, 3 teams in the 12-team playoff. 3 teams? Minimum. Let's just say the Big Ten.
Oh, minimum?
Minimum, not maximum. Minimum as far as the minimum number of teams in the SEC. 3? At least get 3 teams, right?
Oh, minimum 3. I think we got to see how it all plays out. I don't think 5 is out of the question. Does 5 feel totally out? Think about it. Let's say Clemson loses a bad game somewhere along the way, and then they lose to Miami in the conference championship game. Clemson's not getting in. By the way, the Big 12, everybody's beating everybody in that league. Utah was the preseason pick. Their quarterback's out for the year. So I think part of it is, and maybe this is where college football has become a national sport, is, now you got to start monitoring everybody else. But, I think when you look at the Big 12 and ACC, I think Miami and Clemson, the loser of that game, if they both get in without another loss, is probably getting in. But I don't see another at-large candidate unless, by the way, maybe you believe in Eli Holstein and the Pitt Panthers, but unless you believe in Eli Holstein and the Pitt Panthers, I don't know that there's an at-large candidate in the ACC outside of those 2 schools. So I would say minimum of 3. I would feel good about 4. I don't think 5 is out of the question.
All right. So Torres, based on what we know, 6 games into the regular season, do you think Alabama's a playoff team?
Do I think they're a playoff team?
You hesitated. You just listen. You've already hit us in the mouth, taking an Auburn guy's SEC Player of the Year. Go ahead, punch us in the mouth. We're down. Go ahead, kick us right between the legs. Go ahead, Torres. I could.
Well,
I could feel the hesitation. You don't feel that we're a playoff team.
So can I be totally transparent? Can I just be 100% honest with you?
Yes.
The reason, and this is my dedication to Tide 100.9. The reason, Ryan, that I hesitated is because as we speak, my alma mater, UConn, is in the process of getting a basketball commitment. He's literally on the 24/7 YouTube channel right now. You can pull it up, about to pull that UConn cap out of the bag. So I bring it up. First of all, if he doesn't commit to UConn, I'm going to be sad. But 2, I was a little distracted with that question. I did not hesitate because I don't believe Alabama's a playoff team. I hesitated because, darn it, I do love my alma mater. Go to 24. I'm not telling anybody to go somewhere they don't want to go. I'm just telling you that is the reason that I hesitated. Honest, hand to the big guy upstairs. That was the reason I hesitated. Can you forgive me?
No, we'll forgive
My
you.
school's about to get a big-time recruit.
Right. You want to give us play-by-play? I mean, what do you think? I mean, is it? Are we this close?
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Well, I know on radio, like during the Alabama-Georgia game, like we couldn't do play-by-play. Oh. So no, but I mean, 7-foot center, nice player. Alabama didn't recruit him, so that's okay. So no, but yeah. So to answer your question, I think that Alabama
we didn't need him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, you got Big Cliff. I mean, Big Cliff's out of eligibility after this year, but still. Listen, I'll say this. I actually am going to say something controversial. I do think Alabama is a playoff team. I have not quit on this team after this past week because I think, to your question about 3-loss teams, I still think Alabama's schedule actually shapes up pretty nicely. I am not a believer in Missouri. I'll say this, and maybe it'll bite me in the butt and I look stupid. I'm not a believer in LSU. By the way, the LSU game, this is a crazy stat. LSU never led against Ole Miss last week. They did not lead until the final buzzer as the clock expired and fans rushed the field. And that was Ole Miss at LSU. Oklahoma is struggling right now. So I think, and this is maybe the gift and the curse of this 12-team playoff era, is that in this 12-team playoff era, you can lose once, maybe even lose a second time, and still get into the show, still get into the big dance, still get into that 12-team field. And if you do, you're going to have a chance. So to answer the question, and I'm not ducking it, and I was looking at the stream of this kid's commitment. I do think Alabama's a playoff team. I'm not hesitating. He's still yapping it up with his dad. So listen, we got to give him his time. It's his moment, so we don't want to take away from him. But no. So I do think Alabama's a playoff team. To answer your question directly, yes, I believe Alabama's a playoff team.
All right,
no hesitation, no stutter, no stammer.
Okay, all right, I'm going to leave you with this. You're on in College Station every Thursday.
Oh, he just committed to UConn. Committed to UConn.
There you go.
Let's
Torres,
go.
Go crazy, man. Go crazy.
Eric Reeby. Get to know the name, Ryan Fowler. Get to know the name, baby.
He plays above the rim. He plays above the rim. He plays below the rim. Can he shoot outside? He can.
You better. Play for Dan Hurley, you better. You play for Nate Oates, you better. But he is officially a Husky. Congrats to my Huskies. Now we can get back to football. It was expected. It was one of those, the rumors were all headed that way. So it would have been a little embarrassing if he did not commit. I would have felt a little silly. But he did commit. So we have the newest UConn Husky, and that's awesome. And yeah. So what else you got?
All right, let's go back to College Station because you said you were not a believer in the Missouri Tigers. I promise you, this will be my last question, Torres. This will be this will be it.
We got our center of the future. I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I'm good.
But here's the question: you go on in College Station. We will. Jackson, do not send this audio to College Station. You promise me? Okay, Jackson gave me a promise. Okay, he's not going to do it. Okay,
I'll tell you what.
So
I'm going to talk about this with David Nuno tomorrow. But go ahead.
Okay, all right, but don't say it. Okay, say it on the air, but we're not going to send it to College Station. Jackson, you promise?
Yeah.
Even if they call in, well, I don't know what he's going to say. I'm trying to give him clearance where he can say anything. Cause, because he loves to butter up those Texas A&M people every Thursday morning. He gets up early, like 5 a.m. California time, just to get ready for College Station. Okay. Torres?
It's the only show I prep for. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
Do you believe in Texas A&M? Because you said you don't believe in Missouri because Texas A&M is kind of that, that big one is them.
Well, what I'll say about Texas A&M, and I told Nuno I told his replacement last week. They went on a bye, so he took vacation, that guy. What a guy. Lucky guy, just gets to take vacation whenever he wants. So what I would say is, first of all, the schedule breaks very nicely for them.
It does.
LSU at home, Texas at home, no Tennessee, no Bama, no Georgia. By the way, Ryan, I don't know if you remember this. You asked me in the summer, you said, give me a surprise team this year. And this was like June or July. And I said, well, Ryan, I feel like I say it every year. And you said, oh, my God, you're going to say the Auburn Tigers, aren't you? And I said, no, not Auburn. I said Texas A&M, but I said it for this reason. Texas A&M and Arkansas, the only two teams that don't play Bama, don't play Georgia. Obviously, not getting Tennessee this year is a huge break. Texas at home, LSU at home for the Texas A&M Aggies. The question for Texas A&M, and I don't know how closely you follow them, and I do think they're kind of that fly in the ointment of the playoff conversation, is the big question is Connor Wigman was their starter to begin the year, struggled early, got hurt, came back in that Missouri game. He looked like Tom Brady. I mean, he was dropping back, dicing people up. And so the question is that who he is, or was it a one-game thing? And I think once we figure that out, we'll have a better idea. Because if not, then it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say. But I would lean no right now. I would lean them being that 9-3 team that is out of the playoff rather than in the playoff. But I don't think it's out of the question. That's all I'll say.
Aaron Torres, Fox Sports National Analyst. Aaron Torres, Fox Sports National Analyst. Torres, I appreciate you, man. I look up at the clock. You and I have been going for 25 minutes. I know that included a commitment and all the different things there, man.
Yes.
But I appreciate the extra time. Went on with Torres on the Wednesday edition. Actually, you published that yesterday, Tuesday edition, and it's available on the Aaron Torres. Subscribe to his Twitter account and also subscribe on YouTube where you can watch you can see my pretty face.
Oh, that's right.
And I need a shave.
That's right.
And I gotta get a haircut, man. It's 6 weeks in.
Okay, bud.
I look like Grizzly Adams, man.
It's the season. It's the grind of the season. If you looked good, I'd be worried. I'd said you're not working hard enough. Yeah. Maybe, people might say that about some of the defensive staff at Alabama, but that's neither here nor there. Wow. That's neither here nor there.
Oh, okay. Torres, here you are. You praising Alabama, now you're throwing jabs. All right, Torres, I appreciate you, man. And, hey, we'll hear you on Saturday night right here on Fox Sports National Analyst right here on Tide 100.9. Appreciate you, man. Thank you again.
You joined me on that show, too. It was tough last Saturday, but I appreciate you, buddy.
So I appreciate you. See you, Torres. Have a good one, man. The game here in Tuscaloosa, Tide at 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. And right now we go to Greg in Athens. Greg, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
Hey, Ryan, thank you for taking my call. My wife and I went down to Tuscaloosa Thursday and spent the weekend there, came back after the game Saturday. And, sitting there watching the game, I was actually excited. It was a thrilling game if you were there in person. I didn't walk away from that game thinking the same way I did after the Georgia game. I know that a lot of people wanted to bail ship on Alabama, and that's their right to do so, I guess. But I think the problems that they had are fixable. As a teacher, my kids know the difference between ignorance and stupidity. If you are ignorant on something, I can address that with you. If you're stupid, there's nothing I can do. And so the problems that Alabama have are repairable. A lot of times it was simply misassignments, blown coverage. I thought the defense did play better this week, of course, than they did against Vanderbilt. And they got numerous turnovers, which was a positive thing. I thought what I saw that was concerning to me in the first half especially was the regression of Jalen Milroe, because he looked like the quarterback of last year when he was struggling. And here's the thing. Milroe will give you a game like that, but he doesn't normally give you two. And so I'm much more confident about Bama's chances in Knoxville than I was before the season began, because Tennessee has its own issues, one primarily being
offensive
they can't
line.
score anything.
Their offensive line's not where they need to be. Yeah.
Right. And they can't score any points in the first half, so it's a matter of can Alabama establish what it wants to do and limit the rushing opportunities, because that offense in Tennessee is like a Ferrari. It's designed when it's running on all cylinders, it's excellent. But you get a grain of sand in the air intake or your filter's dirty, it doesn't run well. And what we're seeing is, really a first-year player in Iamaleava who everybody was gaga over with because they played great against Iowa last year in a bowl game.
It's true. That's true. And we did. I mean, you look back at Tennessee, the opening, and we're like, hold on, whoa, this Tennessee Volunteer team looks scary. And then how much I think going to Norman probably hurt them a little bit as far as kind of solving that Tennessee explosive offense riddle. And then, you get beat against Arkansas. It's one of those that kind of grabs you a lot. So when you look at these Tennessee Volunteers, I'm not saying, when you look back at the Oklahoma game, even though it was a win, it was where you were exposed a little bit. I mean, you went from 69, 51, 71 points, and he scored 25. And Brent Venables was able to solve that Tennessee Volunteer riddle on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I was reading today that one of the defensive linemen for Tennessee, Keeley, is going to be out, and he is the communicator. He's the one that keeps everything where it's supposed to be on that line, and they're going to miss him dearly, even though they have several good players on the defensive line. And so I just think, look, you're going to see Alabama run some more. When they ran early, they had a drive where they just kept running the ball, and then they got away from it, and they were doing well. And so I expect to see a return to some run and trying to get Ryan Williams in isolation, and Kendrick Law is going to be getting back, and I think that's going to benefit the offense as well.
I do too. He sets the edge so well. So, Greg, you also teach, as you said, up in Tennessee. What are they saying? I mean, are they a little
quiet right now?
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. So if this had been, if we were having this conversation in August, they'd have been all over me about how things are going to be. But I say they're quiet. I came in Monday wearing an Alabama shirt, and I got a couple of go Vols, but there's concern. They're used to the offense performing really well, and it's not doing it. And so I don't know that. I think they have a higher hill to climb than Alabama does offensively, and Jalen's going to do what Jalen needs to do to win this game. And so I think Alabama's going to win this game 31-23.
31-23. We're going Bama rushing yards as our tiebreaker. Greg, where do you want to go?
179.
179. I got it, Greg. I appreciate you, man. Thank you again.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Hey, right back to you as we continue right here on the game. We're talking a little Alabama Crimson Tide football. We're going to take your phone calls. Look up at the call board. Jeff in Tennessee. Jeff, we'll get to you coming up here in just a couple of seconds. It is this October. The BMW Tuscaloosa has it all ready to roll for your upgrade, for your drive. Enjoy special interest rates as low as 1.9%. Plus, do not miss our incredible rebates on BMWs. Get $5,000 off our new 2024 X3 and 2 Series inventory. October is the month of BMW, and BMW Tuscaloosa is the place to be. Visit us now to save big and discover why. A little journey as we open up the 3 o'clock song. We've been told that Kalen DeBoer, that's his favorite group. So we played at 3. Nate Oates gets his song at 4. And then we do a little Dixieland and Light at 5 o'clock. We don't have a guest until a little bit later in the show. We're going to talk to ProFootballFocus.com, and we're going to analyze this game from Dalton Wasserman. And Dalton was a part of our show a couple of weeks ago. He's got some big thoughts on this Alabama game. We'll also kind of recap some Alabama, South Carolina. And people always ask, Josh from College Football Nerds, that we always, and that's what you were asking, Jackson, I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. We've moved him to tomorrow. He had an obligation in this window, so we asked to move him back. He said, hey, we'll just catch up next week. I said, no. We need you this week. We love to hear your analysis. So Josh is going to be with us tomorrow from College Football Nerds, CFB Nerds on the Twitter accounts, College Football Nerds. Make sure you subscribe to those guys. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Let's go to Jeff in Tennessee. Jeff, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope you're having an amazing day. Go ahead, Jeff. Hey, Jeff. What in the world is going on, Jackson? I can hear him. Hey, Jeff, are you snoring? I can hear him like snoring in the background. Isn't he like a Tennessee fan? Is it that? Isn't that what he is? I think he's a Tennessee fan, but I can hear him. We must have put him to sleep. I mean, listen to him snoring. That's what it is. Is it not? He's falling asleep on the air. I knew we were that boring. I'll put him back on hold, Jackson. See if you can yell at him and get him off the air. But that is funny. Let's go to Trip in Venice, Florida. Trip, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hey, if anything, I don't even know what to say, Trip. I mean,
I hear you. No.
I mean, that's like telling you suck before you don't even have to say anything. We put him to sleep. But I think that's that Tennessee reject that calls in from time to time. It may be a different Jeff, and I apologize if it is. But
yeah, I hear you. Listen, I used to live in Tennessee. I moved down to Florida about 8 years ago, and loving it. We got hit with a hurricane, but we're okay. Big time, but I'll tell you what. The puke pumpkin orange, that's what I'm about. I tell you what, that young man, that video that resurfaces every year, I totally agree. I grew up, I was born Alabama fan. Grandfather and father went to Alabama. I lived in Nashville, Tennessee most of my life. I ended up going to Vanderbilt because I couldn't get into Alabama. I could only get into Vanderbilt. Nothing like that. But I had been Alabama in my whole damn life. And I just the reason why I wanted to call is I wanted to ask you, listen, I'm not the guy that's, fired Kane Womack, fired Kalen or whatever. I think everything is fine, but I do want to ask you this one question.
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer.
Okay.
He's obviously totally different from Saban. And Saban used to give the on the press conferences, he was talking to the recruit, he was talking to the player, and he was just, he was making his point. It seems like Kalen, in front of the media, he's just, he's like a Democrat. He's just PR guy. Oh, yeah. Everything's great. So I'm just wondering, and I'm hoping that, and maybe you guys haven't had a chance to see that, but I'm hoping that he's got some peace and he is motivating these guys because they need to wake up. I mean,
all right, Trip, he's not going to be. All right, he's not going to be a Nick Saban type guy. He's more of an instructor. And Nick Saban had a different way of motivating. Now, listen, don't mistake that for there's no fire in the belly, okay? Because there is. And trust me, he can light you up, too. Now, he's not one of those guys that he's more of a psychologist, lift you up a little bit. And people criticize that. I was on a couple of national shows, and they're like, he's player-friendly. Trip, he had no choice. When he came into the University of Alabama, he had to build relationships like this. Because if not, he wouldn't have had a roster. He had no choice. Yeah. He couldn't come in and throw the chair across the meeting room. He had to come in and go, I got to build relationships fast. I've got to sit down and I got to meet with every player to be able to let them know I'm here for you. So it's almost like, okay, you build that part of the trust, and you can't automatically, once you get past the portal period, go, well, let me flip on a dime, because that would be disingenuous. I think he's managed this as well as you could possibly manage it in the current structure. But trust me, there's fire in the belly, even though he's not one of those guys that's going to throw his headset across the thing, but he'll light you up. I mean, trust me. I've talked to several players. He has a way of getting to you. He doesn't verbally, publicly humiliate you, which maybe that's a needed part. But there's a fire in the belly. Don't. And we had I'm trying to think how to say this. We had an off-record meeting. Okay. And that's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
It was a group of select members of the media. It was probably maybe 10, 12 of us, something like that. And we were all in this room. And that question kind of came up. And I can't discuss what was behind the doors, but trust me, there's a fire in the belly. Okay, it's not just easy, just self-control. No. I mean, listen, this is not in the meeting, but one of the things that fired the group up for Georgia is Kalen DeBoer let a little word out. Now, you and I would look at HELL as going, that's a little one, right? He dropped that word, and the players went crazy because they'd never heard him cuss. He told them that they were tough as HELL. He said because he was giving his pregame speech to Georgia, and it was right before they took the field, and he had them down, and he had a psychological this big speech out. Hey, now's the time to let loose is one of his favorite sayings. Now's the time to let loose, and he went through all the Lank stuff, right? He goes, you guys have been talking. Now's your chance. Now's your chance. You want to go out and prove, let all the naysayers know, here's your chance right here. And what did Alabama do? But he also said, you're tough as hell. And they went crazy. I mean, the whole entire locker room just big. And that was, I don't know if that's one of the reasons why they played that way, but I was told that it was the most electric they'd ever seen in a locker room. And it was, now, because, Saban, he used... I'm trying to cover for Coach. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but let me say this. He probably didn't use HELL very many times because those were two elementary words for him. It was blank, blank, blah, blah, blank, blank. I mean, he's one of the very few guys that I could, never mind, I'm not going to tell him, Coach, but man, he could.
No, I hear you.
He had to be kin to a sailor at one time. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no sugar. But yeah, listen, Brian, that's what I wanted to hear. Because I mean, we're I'm the biggest fan of everybody. I mean, everybody's the biggest fan, right? I mean, I got all the services and watch it all, recruiting the whole bit. So yeah, but no, I just was wanting to hear someone on the inside, and that's what I was hoping to hear. And I assumed that. I mean, I'm a regional person, so yeah. Roll Tide, man. If he comes out with that same attitude and, I mean, hopefully the guys are figuring it out. I mean, quit reading your damn press clippings. I mean, we almost lost 2 in a row. And I mean, to, mediocre teams, mediocre. I mean, for sure. So that, I don't even know, who knows? Saban might not have even,
here's the problem with Nick Saban's approach. He yelled at you. He yelled at me. He yelled at everybody. And what happens is people tune that out. Like you would listen and you would look like you're listening, but you don't hear anything. It goes in one ear and out the other. That's the message that it had got to the point that it was a little bit old. And I don't know if that system will work in the current college football. These kids are too fragile, man. They're not your kids of 5 years ago. Okay? They're just not. I mean, I'm not saying they're soft. It's just a different approach.
Well, I can tell you that they are soft. But
I hate to say a 230-pound linebacker is soft, but you know what I mean. I mean, we know what tough football players look like. All right, Trip, give me a score. What do you think?
All right, yeah, that 38-20 Bama. I mean, I don't know. I hope so. Good Lord, I've lost my ass betting on them the last 2 weeks. But I'll just take a W. Yeah, I need to be smart. You're not supposed to bet on your favorite team.
No,
but, you know how it is.
You bet on Auburn to lose, man. That's what you do. But hey, Trip, Bama rushing yards. Where you want to go, man?
One. Yeah, so the sack yards are
no. Bama. Well, Bama rushing. Once we get the total rushing and. Some of those sack numbers come off that. So it was just total rushing for Alabama.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think we're going to blow them up. I say about 225.
Ooh, glory! I'd take that. I'd take it right now. It's one of the best teams that's stopping the run, and we have not got it cranked up. But I'll take 225. I'd do backflips down University Boulevard.
They're going to be. Yeah, they're going to be worried about Ryan. They're going to be worried about Ryan.
I hope. Man, you get me fired up. 225. I'd love it. Hey, Trip, good to talk to you, man. Roll Tide.
Thank you, sir.
Right back to you. All right. So Jackson, is Jeff in Tennessee? I mean, did you wake him up? You woke him up? Jeff, we're sorry we put you to sleep, man. I mean, it's
let's just do this. You think that you'll let Kalen DeBoer coach and do what he wants to do or not? Yes or no?
Have I prevented him from doing anything?
No. Will you let him do it? Yes or no? Yes or no? Will you let him coach the team how he wants to do it? Yes or no? That's all I'm asking.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you. You're in the media. You're true.
I am.
You hang out. You go to all these press conferences. So will these fans let him coach the team like he wants to or not? I say no. I say they won't.
You're saying they won't let him? I'm saying
they won't let him. Well, they are jumping all over. He's got to win this weekend, or is he toast if he doesn't win this weekend?
Jeff, you're an idiot, man. You're an idiot. Okay?
I'm just telling you.
No, I haven't. If you listen to the show,
not you. I'm talking about fans. I'm about fans in general.
Well, man, you're asking me a question about them. I can't make a decision for them.
Okay, I'm just. Well, let me tell you this. There have been 4 coaches in SEC history that have won national championships: Ed Orgeron, Gene Chizik, Gus Malzahn, and Phil Fulmer, and they all were fired eventually. So those
Gus won a national title.
Well, he got to that. Did he win? Well, he got the national championship game. Did he not?
He got the championship game. But he didn't.
Okay. Well, then 3: Orgeron, Chizik, and then Fulmer. Those 3 won national championship and got fired eventually.
So, are you a Tennessee guy?
No, I'm a Kentucky fan.
Okay. Well, bless your heart.
I mean, I know you hate Kentucky. That's fine.
I don't hate Kentucky.
I don't have no problem with it.
I just look at the stats.
I know you don't. I know you don't like Stoops like the rest of them. So that's okay with me. But let me tell you this. If you're, do you think it was okay? I know you're not a Tennessee fan, so it don't really matter. But so, do you think it's okay if a guy like Auburn, the guy won a national championship, or Orgeron, do you think it's okay to fire him 2 years later after he wins one?
Well, I mean, I'm not an LSU guy. So.
I know, but I'm saying you think so. I mean, I'm saying if you're a fan of a team,
if you're a program, okay, you used Auburn a couple of minutes ago, and you talked about Gene Chizik. I mean, he gave them something they had not done since 1957. They split a national title with Ohio State, so they had a half national title in 1957. He gave them something that they had now. You ask Auburn fans, they think they're worth more than what the facts tell you. If you're Gene Chizik, yeah, you could have probably given him more time. You probably should have given him more time. Maybe that's the mistake.
So what I'm asking you is, so do you think if you win a national championship, that doesn't give you any equity? That you have no equity in the bank?
No, if you win a national title with a program like Auburn or LSU, yeah, sure. Why not? If you're here in Tuscaloosa,
no. Well, let me ask you this. Orgeron.
I mean, think about it. You're in basketball. Okay, your program is very rich in basketball tradition.
True.
If you guys win a national title or don't win a national title, that's called success or failure, is it not? I mean, what do you?
Not every year.
Okay, well,
not every year. That's unrealistic.
Okay, well, what's successful in your opinion for Kentucky basketball?
Kentucky basketball is to contend for a Final Four, not win it every year.
Okay.
The longest period that they went without winning a national championship is 20 years.
Okay.
It was 1958. Rupp's last one to Hall's in 78. What I'm saying is this: Orgeron won a couple of years, whatever he won. Then 2 years later, he was in Lexington. Kentucky beat the brakes off of him. He was fired. This is my prediction. Kentucky's going to play Florida in the Swamp Saturday. Kentucky's already won 3 years in a row. He's won 4 times in his career. If Kentucky beats Florida in the Swamp Saturday night, and that's when they play, if they beat them Saturday night, by Monday or Tuesday, Napier is toast. That's my prediction.
No, I think that's a fair comment, Jeff. I do. And I mean, Billy Napier.
Because Florida thinks it's their birthright to beat us. True?
They do. Sure.
That's true.
I mean, you're Kentucky. Not basketball, but football. I mean,
so we shouldn't be any good in football. We're a piece of crap.
Yeah.
We don't have. Let me tell you something. A guy they say up here Kentucky is an easy football job. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, football.
Do you? Okay.
Football for you guys is the cracker and ranch before the steak. It's the bread and butter.
Okay.
I mean, you really don't care about football, do you? I mean, do you?
I want to see him. Let me tell you. Stu.
So, like, if basketball was having a practice at the same time.
This is the best that it's been since in my lifetime. Since I watched football.
He's a good coach. But, I mean, if I gave you a practice basketball game or a football game, where would you go if it was at the same time?
You mean an exhibition game?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm going to go to a football game, but I'm not going to exhibition basketball. I'm not going to do that.
Hey.
I'm not going to exhibition.
But most fans up there would probably say,
most fans would, yeah, because I'm just that's me. I'm just saying what I'm saying is this. I mean, what I'm saying is people say there's no pressure to win in Kentucky. You can just coast, and I say no. I say no because they put money into the program. Okay, and the thing about Stoops is they gave him time. Most people in the SEC, he's been gone a long time ago at other schools. They gave him time to build it. That's what they should. These other schools should learn from Kentucky instead of doing what they do. But see, you don't think that's true. You think that ought to be fair like Auburn and Alabama and the rest of them. Just get rid of their butts. Is that true? Is that true or false?
Well, I mean, Alabama has a different level of expectations.
I know they do, but I'm just saying true. I'm saying that you don't think you should give people time to build a program in football. True or false?
Well, I mean,
I don't care what program. I don't care what level program. I don't care what it is. I'm saying, should you give them time? I mean, it's just, if you think that Kentucky is a basketball school, that Alabama's a football, let me tell you something. I don't think Alabama cares about basketball. You know why? Because you got a dump for a basketball arena. And Coleman Coliseum's a dump. And when you're never going to build one. I've heard about it for 30 years. You ain't going to build no arena.
Well,
we're suffering
from Kamala inflation. Kamala, really, if you really want to look at it. No, I mean, we had the money, but, construction
inflation. How much money do you bring SEC brings in? $75 million? How much do you bring in? How much do you bring in for the SEC? You get what's the check you get from the SEC?
It's a bunch. Year? But hey, listen, Jeff, I appreciate it, man.
Look. I know this. That Kentucky basketball and Alabama football are brands, and so that's all I do know. But have a good one. See you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. We appreciate it, man. What a great phone call.
Well, I mean, he has a point. I mean,
Coleman is a bad facility. Okay. But I will tell you that they had the money. They had the money raised, and what happened? It's like building those steps out front. Okay, we just repaired the steps. Okay, I'd hate to know what it costs to repair the steps inside our building. Because I put on a deck around my house 2 years ago. We had no other option. Okay, we had no. It was about a year and a half ago. We had no option because it was falling in. The problem is construction costs are through the roof. So if you raise money and then inflation hits you, what now was costing $150 million is now costing you $300 million. I mean, because I put a deck, and we live on a small.
Well, lumber alone is ridiculous.
It's through the roof. Well, it's the wages. I mean, it's labor. It's everything. It's the gasoline. It is. So if you want to blame somebody,
supply chain,
but also the inflation. So for all of you out there that wanted a new Coleman Coliseum,
but I mean,
they had the cash.
We don't have. Where are we going to put the new Coliseum?
Oh, the preliminary was over by the softball facility is where they were looking at, and then now the enhanced practice facilities. In my mind, unless you're going to tear this down, and who knows what the future may hold, but Indiana has an old facility too. Assembly Hall is got some age too.
Honestly, throw that money into updating.
We actually, but they've done that so many times. It's just a Band-Aid. I mean,
but actually spend the money to fully improve the building.
And I know the fan experience is where I think they would like, but I had this conversation with Nate Oates at the University Church of Christ, where our kickoff was a couple of months ago, whatever it was, in August, when we had Nate Oates and we had John Hanna talk. And one of the things that we talked about is the facilities. He wanted it in the basketball practice facility because that's where they spend the majority of their time, and that's what's recruiting. But listen, Nate Oates' system, he also wanted more on the NIL. He got that. Now this team is number 2 in the country, and it's a lot of excitement around Alabama Crimson Tide basketball. And you got 2 coaches. Nate Oates just turned 50. You got Kalen DeBoer turns 50. And next Thursday, so not tomorrow, but next Thursday, I think is when he celebrates a birthday, and then Coach Saban will celebrate it the Thursday afterwards. So,
do we witness the midlife crisis?
What do you mean?
Like, is there a game?
Messages coming up. We'll talk to ProFootballFocus.com. Dalton Wasserman is going to join us coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll have a chance to feature him. I do want to remind you, it is thestandardbama.com, home of the 20-inch pizza pie, pepperoni, meat lovers, cheese. Design your own. The wings, the boneless wings, the cheese sticks, the mac and cheese bites. Great options there for the big 20-inch pizza pie. Thestandardbama.com. TheStandardBama.com. Full-service restaurant available by carryout and also available by DoorDash. On the delivery side of things, it is The Standard on University Boulevard. Let's continue, and we go to Robert in Mobile. Hey, Robert, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
Hey, so you guys got Billy Napier coaching for his job this weekend, huh?
Well, I mean, he seems to be always coaching for his job, but I like Billy. Billy did some great things here at Alabama. For some reason, I think it's a deeper problem. You know, you could look back at the way that he coached that Tennessee game, probably a little bit more aggressive, needed. That was a little bit of a meltdown. Florida looked like the better team on Saturday night. At the end of the day, they got the L, and Tennessee did not. But if you look at Florida, they've had some really solid coaches, right? I mean, they went through some pretty decent coaches. I think it's more of an administrative problem for these guys.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that at one point in time, Kentucky had gone 30 years without beating Florida. That seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It does.
Man, times when it changes, it can change. I didn't realize it was 3 years in a row, 3 years. The last caller just mentioned it. Wow, we can go 30 years without beating the team, and now you beat them 3 years in a row. That's amazing. Hopefully that's not a trend for Vanderbilt.
Think about it, and what he's trying to say is that he looks ahead, and you see Kentucky this week, right? If you lose that game, yeah, he's probably out of there. He's got a bye week, so you'd have 2 weeks to prepare for Georgia, which is the largest outdoor cocktail party down in Jacksonville, Florida. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, when you get through with Georgia, you got to go to Austin, Texas, and then LSU, then Ole Miss, and then Florida State. So prayers needed.
That's life in the SEC.
Yeah, because they're not going to feel sorry for you. They're going to throw you a life preserver.
I can't wait for Texas to have a schedule like that next year. Although this year ain't over yet, so that schedule can catch up on them. I thought your question of the day, at least when you asked Aaron Torres, is Alabama playoff team. Wow, just last year that would have been a ridiculous question in the 12-team playoff just last year, and now it's are we a playoff team? With a 12-team playoff, are we a playoff team? Wow, now it's a question, a serious question.
Do you think?
I don't. I pick us to beat Tennessee. I guess I do, because otherwise I wouldn't pick us to beat Tennessee. But boy, that Vanderbilt loss is. Losing to Vanderbilt is worse than losing to Georgia. We think we would have preferred beating Georgia and losing to Vanderbilt. And if you ask us out of the two, which one would we prefer? But no, you're better off losing to Georgia and beating Vanderbilt for the world. But again, like everybody keeps saying, this is not a Vanderbilt team for the last umpteen year. This is the best team they've had since Franklin was there. Since Franklin was their coach. That long ago, since James Franklin was their coach.
And I don't know if Lee is a great coach. I think he's went out and made some right moves, right? And the money, we always know Vanderbilt's got a lot of money. I mean, Vanderbilt's got a lot of money. Simply look at their baseball program. I mean, they a lot of fully funded scholarships up there, man. So we know they got the cash, and maybe Vanderbilt changes the future when you look at what they're able to spend. And I think if you missed Tony Franklin yesterday, I thought he was just great. I thought he was, he said, if you're Alabama, sure, you don't like the new system. If you're Vanderbilt, you love it.
That's what I said the other day. Vanderbilt, Texas, you love the new system. It is what it is. You got to adapt. Looking at our schedule, if it's all caveat, if Alabama that beats Georgia that in the first half shows up for the rest of the year, we're national champions. If the Alabama last two games shows up, then we're not making the playoffs. So it's just that simple. Unfortunately, both teams are capable of showing up. Look, I rewatched the South Carolina game. Although we pick on the defense, it was kind of the inverse of the Vanderbilt game. The defense couldn't get the offense bailed out the defense and would have won the game had the defense got more stops. The defense really did bail the offense out in this last game. You look at what they gave up at the end wasn't pretty to look at. But had the offense executed in the first half, that wouldn't have mattered.
Well, I mean, and you got to play all 60 minutes, but take away the last 2 minutes of the first half and the last 2 minutes of the final quarter, the fourth quarter at the end of the game. That's a much better played game. But it was the kind of a little bit of a meltdown going into halftime and a little bit of a meltdown going to the end of the game.
And that's what seems to we run into is the meltdowns and they can't seem and the coaches can't seem to right the ship quick enough. One game we understand. Let's get on 2 games and a half where you got the coach. We weren't able to right the ship before the other team was able to come back or in some cases take the lead. That's what's got us all perplexed and worried. But I think we make the playoffs. And if they can figure out what the deal is, then, we can make a run at it. But this season, you said, new college football, this season is coming down to what team gets hot in the end, just like the NFL. That's just how it is, man. Who gets hot in, this case, November. The NFL says December. But the college football case, I guess it's November. And part of December, too, so that's when the playoffs start. So, November, December, that's going to decide, who's hot at the end. We already had a great start. That Wisconsin game was our best full game, the game in Wisconsin. That was the best game beginning on both sides of the ball. Can we get that back again? I guess we'll see. But I think we'll make the playoff. I'm hesitating too, though, aren't I?
I think we'll be okay. Hey, Robert, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right,
and this week was going to tell us. I mean, I said last week was going to tell us, and it didn't tell us much, so I lied. But this week, Robert, you go up there and you lose, you now start having to depend on other people to bail you out. Right now, to me, if you could control your own destiny, you lose.
I think we'll get bailouts, though.
If
it's just 2 losses, I think we get the bailouts. So there's going to be more chaos to come down the line.
So do you think? How comfortable would you feel at 9-3?
Oh, 9-3, I think kicks you out. But 2 losses, there's going to be chaos. I think 2 losses get you in. 9-3, no, I'm not confident at all.
Okay. All right, Robert, I got your score yesterday, man. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
We'll continue. Wayne in Northport, get ready. We'll go to Ram and McCalla. We'll get to you. We do have one line available. We're doing a Southern Ale House score prediction day. Let me remind you about the Wharf. If you're looking for a new pair of boots, Justin, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo, and many more. Carhartt Clothing, Rocky Clothing, Under Armour Clothing. It's our good friends right there at the Wharf. The work in Western wear since 1976. You will find it right there at the Wharf. If you go by El Gran Patron. I don't drink, so that word Patron is not, what is it? Is it tequila? Is that what Patron means?
It's a form of tequila.
It's a form of tequila. Okay, Patron.
Or similar to gin.
So you pass by El Gran Patron, and you if you go to the Blue Plate, you went too far. It's newly renovated shopping center on the right-hand side of the road, open until 6 p.m. You got the Carhartt clothing, you got the Rocky clothing, the Under Armour clothing, all the hunting apparel, work boot, casual boot, Western wear for the entire family. And, cold weather, it feels good, but you're probably not ready for it. And if you need to get some cold weather supplies, you can find it at the Wharf since 1976. The Work in Western Wear for the entire family. We'll continue with more of your phone calls. Remember, we're going to be live tomorrow at R&R Cigars, live at R&R Cigars in downtown Tuscaloosa, 2703 6th Street. We're going to place right there, owned by Carlos. Go over and see those guys if you're thinking about having a great meal, or you can also stop by their location, El Gran Patron, right there on McFarland Boulevard. Go over and see the great Mexican food, that great Southern cuisine that you're looking for when you look at that Mexican side of things. McFarland Boulevard, right past the Winn-Dixie. The old Winn-Dixie is turning into Aldi's now. You'll find the great Mexican options, Dos Amigos, all the great Mexican dishes that you're thinking about. You can have the Jose Bowl, which is named after a good friend of mine, and a friend of mine that turned me down to lunch today. Can you believe it? And then Dana Bowl, which is named after our former gymnast, head gymnastics coach, but also our former gymnast as well at the University of Alabama. So let's continue. Jackson, you got something on your mind, man. You got.
Well, I was just going to say, Robert made a good point. I think there is still a lot of season left, yes, but I think this weekend, much like last weekend,
you come out of Knoxville, man. You're up against you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah,
because now that means you don't go to Knoxville and beat. So you think about the hostile environments. This is really the big first test, right? Because Wisconsin jumped in and jumped out, right? I mean, think about Wisconsin. They came in for the jump around song and then they're out. This is the environment. You took over Vanderbilt and you didn't play very good. Now you go in 100,000 that hate your guts.
Well, it helps it's a day game, but I mean, this weekend's going to show who the SEC really is between Texas, Georgia, and Alabama, Tennessee. It's going to show who the real players are in this league.
Here we go. Put up a nice Philip Fulmer photo up there on Facebook. Ask what's the first word that comes to mind. Go to Facebook and see this. It's got 435 comments. It's what's the first word you think of when you see this photo? And I was nice. I'm letting you guys be mean. I ever tell you the time I got cussed out by Philip Fulmer? I didn't tell you this.
What were the words you used?
No, I was on the air. Oh, it was nasty. I mean, it was nasty. And I was an up-and-coming, little cub reporter. And I had him on the show, and I we talked about the Tennessee rivalry, and we talked about it from his side of the fence, my side of the fence, and we had him on the show. And then at the end, I hit him with one of those, down and away sliders, and I said, Coach, do you ever feel like that you're kind of the reason why this rivalry that had so much respect for one another? Because Coach Bryant taught us to hate Auburn, but respect Tennessee. I mean, he respected General Neyland. So when you think about the understanding of Tennessee, you respect that program. And I asked Coach Fulmer if he ever feels like that he's the one that turned this one sour. And he goes, no. He goes, Alabama fans, they love me. I said, really, Coach? Okay. And, buddy, it wasn't 2 minutes after I hung up. It was call me ASAP on a text message. And I said, well, Coach, I'm on the air for another 30 minutes, but I'll call you as soon as my show ends. I did. And, buddy, he lit me up. I mean, I'm talking about it was on. All I could say is, I'm sorry we disagree. But, yes, I do think that you turn the rivalry south. I think you turn it into a bitter rivalry.
Do you think, much like Bear turned the Tennessee, it had us respect Tennessee and hate Auburn, do you think Saban made us hate Tennessee and respect Auburn?
Well, I mean, we just dominated Tennessee. I mean, we beat them. I mean, think about it. I mean, out of his 17 years here in Tuscaloosa, 16 of 17, 17 of 18. I mean, he lost one game up there. And the game, this reminds me a lot of 2016. I'm looking at it. They had played rough at Texas A&M in 2016. They come back home. They were in the top 10. They invited everybody back because they thought that was going to be the streak, right? You had a freshman quarterback by the name of Jalen Hurts. They thought this was the opportunity to go into a hostile environment and we went up there and we absolutely stomped a mud hole, okay? They had Roy Kramer, which was a commissioner, but he was as biased of a commissioner. He never helped the University of Alabama out. Don't let anybody ever believe you when they tell you that Roy Kramer was a friend of the Alabama. He was not a fair commissioner, okay? He did some good things. I'm not taking away from what he did. He created the SEC title game. It's been a big moneymaker. It's great exposure. It's all those different things. But Roy Kramer did not like the University of Alabama. Never did. They invited him back. I mean, that tells you, they brought him back. And listen, one of the sickest moments I've ever been in the press box in 2016 is when all the local Alabama media, not now because we've turned over, but a group of them then was just, commissioner. I mean, they were like huggy, lovey. It made me want to throw up. I saw Roy Kramer up there and Philip Fulmer. But you know what I love about that 2016 game? You had Peyton Manning. You had Philip Fulmer there. But he had to sit there and watch it. They were a top 10 team. And they had to watch Alabama stomp an absolute mud hole in them, okay? That was the Bo Scarborough touchdown game where he threw up the high five in the end zone, and Nick Saban, didn't like that and disciplinary issues. But, man, we stomped a mud hole. We beat them 49-16 or whatever it was. Yeah, that was good. It was good. I mean, it was great. Oh, it was great. It was one of my favorite games.
My favorite moment is when we were beating them so bad here, and I think the backup quarterback threw a pick six, and their DB took it to the house, and then immediately stuck up two fingers.
And tomorrow,
section.
So you and I are getting into something tomorrow. We're going to do a little favorite Tennessee game. We're going to do that tomorrow. Now, the thing about the afternoon, if you give people ideas, they steal your ideas. So the minute we say that we're going to do it tomorrow, 3 other people will do it because it's so I get it. But we're going to do that tomorrow with our favorite Tennessee game. So we're going to take your phone calls on a Thursday. Today we're doing a Southern Alhambra score prediction day. Wayne, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Good afternoon, Ryan. How you doing today?
Man, that 2016 game's got me fired up even thinking about it, man. That was an awesome game.
Oh, man, I wish we could do that again this Saturday. That would be fun, but I don't think it's going to happen that way. But, after the last 2 weeks, I'm lucky I'm even here. The Vanderbilt game put me in a tailspin. But last week, at least we won the game. At least we didn't let one loss become 2. That's all I'm going to say about that. But watching Tennessee on both sides of the line of scrimmage, these guys scare me. I watched the whole Florida game. I watched it from back to front live.
Nasty. An awful game.
Their defensive lines are nasty.
Well, now their defensive line, I don't know if their offensive line is as good as advertised. Do you?
Well, I don't think they're as good as I thought they would be, but they're able to run the football pretty effectively, and that's something we struggle with, stopping the run. I thought Tony Franklin's interview yesterday was right on point.
He was great.
Saw the exact same thing I saw.
Yeah.
Man. Especially in that Vanderbilt game, we started turning down tackles in that second half. And it's been a long time since I've seen that out of an Alabama team. And I'll have to say I was very disappointed in that. But we fought back in the South Carolina game, fought through some adversity, won the game, and that was good. But I'm going to say 27-24 Bama, and I'm going to give us 175 rushing yards.
All right, 27-24, 175. Is that what you said, Wayne?
That's what I said.
All right, just double
check.
And
I hope I'm right.
No, I hope you're
I'm not very confident.
I'll take 3, I'll take 4, I'll take 1, I'll take it all. But, Wayne, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again.
Hey, man, no problem. Have a good one. Have a good day.
Hey, you do as well. Let's go to Ram in McCalla. Ram, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan. Okay, Ryan, thanks for taking my call, buddy.
Thank you.
Let me preface what I'm going to say. I'll never go to Tennessee to a football game again. That's the worst stadium I have ever been to.
Well, I don't know anything about your butt, but I know my butt's bigger than 14 inches, and that's those seats up there. Now, the press box is a little better, but as far as your butt, there's not enough room for the average Southern butt, okay? Very few people have a 14-inch butt. Most of us have. It's a small butt stadium.
It sure is.
Well, I mean, they added seats. And never expanded the stadium, right? Because all they did was cut it down. They kept going down, and so they would cut it down from 18 to because they kept trying to race Michigan with seat capacity. And
it's terrible.
The back end of that stadium is kind of like Auburn's. It's a dump.
Yeah. Well, it is.
Yeah.
I was going to say Auburn is the second worst.
Yeah. Well, Auburn reminds me of like you go into one of this nasty house, and they've got like a 75-inch LED flat screen television.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
you're right.
You pull up and the house is falling down, and you got a rusted chain link fence around it, and then you got a big TV. Oh, we got that from the Rent-A-Center place or whatever.
And a big satellite dish out in the
yard. Oh, here we go. All right, Ram, what you got for me?
I'm gonna give it to you quickly here. Bama 31, Tennessee 24. I don't think Tennessee can score 30 points. So.
Okay, 31-24.
And 188, Ryan.
I got you, man. Appreciate you, Ram. Hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
You too, Ryan. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, appreciate you as well. MedCenter Urgent Care Family Medicine, MedCenterUrgentCare.com. The online check-in, 69 South, Northport, North River, right off Rice Mine Road. Hoover, Alabama, Fayette, Demopolis, MedCenterUrgentCare.com, MedCenterUrgentCare.com. We're going to get you back to 100% occupation.
Not even close.
All right, we're 19 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide basketball. That's brought to you by Alabama Credit Union, AlabamaCU.com. Checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle. It's Alabama Credit Union reminding us to remind you we are 19 days away from Nate Oates and Alabama Crimson Tide basketball as they'll start number 2. The highest ranking in the preseason in school history, number 2 in the AP poll. We're going to go to Dalton Wasserman coming up here in just a couple of seconds. It is ProFootballFocus.com, ProFootballFocus.com. He's going to break down this Alabama game and give us more of an analytical look. And then we'll do Josh from College Football Nerds. We pushed him back from Wednesday to Thursday. Tomorrow's going to be a huge day. It's going to be a big day. We're going to be live at R&R Cigars, and we are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Tuscaloosa Toyota.com. David DeSantis, if you're looking for a great dealership, if you're thinking about a new 4Runner, they've got some of those pre-owned inventory. Is the 4Runner is getting changed over, right? So you got 2024s that are still 2023s. You got some pre-owned inventory, but the 2025 4Runner will not arrive to early January, February is when it's expected, but you can find the new 2025 Camry there. You can find the RAV4 as low as 3.99 APR. They've got a $2,000 loyalty cash attached to the 2024 Tundra. They've got a $1,500 loyalty cash and as low as 3.49 APR on the Tacoma 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Right now, we're going to go to a favorite website of mine. I enjoy going to this website, ProFootballFocus.com. Dalton Wasserman. Dalton, welcome back to Tuscaloosa, man. It's good to catch up with you again.
Absolutely. It's always fun talking to you, especially about Alabama and all the big games they got every week.
Yeah, and I from your vantage point, we're 6 games in, and Alabama it's been a roller coaster, right? I mean, for the last 10 quarters, they've given up almost 100 points. So not been very good on the defensive side of the football. I'd just love to get your general thoughts on this Alabama football team.
I think what you have is a team that they're really figuring it out, absolutely. And I think you're just not seeing as dominant. You're certainly not seeing as dominant a defensive unit as we've seen in past years with Nick Saban. They're really young in the secondary. The pass rush kind of comes and goes sometimes. And I think what you saw last week against South Carolina is what can happen if Jalen Milroe doesn't have his best day, right? Because I think the biggest reason to believe in Alabama and to believe they can still make the playoff and do all that is because you have an elite quarterback in Jalen Milroe. But it wasn't his best day last week after he had 2 really good games the 2 weeks before. Even in the loss to Vanderbilt, he was very good. He only had the ball for like 18 minutes in that game. So when he did have the ball, he was great. That was really more about their defense. But no, I think you have a team that's trying to find it on defense. And again, it's a very young defense. And offensively, what I see too is they're kind of, last week you could tell they were missing Kobe Prentice and Kendrick Law, a little thinner at receiver, a little more focus on South Carolina's defense on containing Ryan Williams because he's made so many more big plays for them. I just think they're still trying to find it, and you go through those bumps and bruises of the season, right? It's been turbulent for a lot of teams, and I think the fact that you still have Milroe, and for the most part he's still playing at an elite level outside of last week, that's what gives you the most hope that they'll carry on through this.
All right, when you look at the biggest concern that you have, is there an area that you're focused in on this Alabama team that you would like to see them give more in a certain area?
I think it's just the amount of youth in the secondary, honestly. When you talk about this freshman playing, especially at cornerback, they're really, I think there's guys who have played well at times. Jalen Mbakwe is a guy. Damani Jackson hasn't played a lot of football at the college level, didn't play much at all at USC last year. I think it's just a lot of youth, right? I think the combination of kind of sometimes an inconsistent pass rush outside of Q Robinson and LT Overton. Outside of that, it's been an inconsistent pass rush, and it's been really young in the secondary. I think they're trying to find their way, in pass defense. So I think it'll be interesting the next few weeks when you talk about a Tennessee team they're playing this week that's really struggling in the passing game, but then you get two really good passing games after that in Missouri and LSU. So I think the secondary especially is going to be something to watch here in these big games going forward.
All right, when you look at this Tennessee game, when you look at the Tennessee, let's separate Alabama. Let's not get to the matchup. Let's just say 6 weeks in, what do you see from the Tennessee Volunteers? Then we'll kind of work our way to the matchup side of this thing.
A different style than we usually see from Tennessee. We're so used to it being high-scoring games and high-flying Josh Heupel type of offense, but it really hasn't been that. Their defense has surprised me as to how good they are, especially all the depth they have on the defensive line right now. They've been winning games with their defense and Dylan Sampson in their running game. The last 3 weeks, they've only scored 25, 14, and 23 points, right? And that's not what we're used to seeing. We're used to Tennessee scoring in the 40s and 50s, even in SEC games, but you have a struggling young quarterback in Nico Iamaleava, right? It's not quite working for them in the passing game. He's kind of out of rhythm. He's kind of hesitant to throw some of his first reads and some of the basic reads that come in that offense. So you're really getting a Tennessee team that's different than they usually are. They're going to try to grind it down and slow down any game they're playing in until they can find a way to get their quarterback heating up.
Dalton, all right, so when we go to this game here, I want to ask you about the offensive line for Tennessee. Because it look at times they're a little vulnerable, but so is Alabama's. I mean, they can give up a lot of big plays, but when you look at that Tennessee Volunteer offensive line, what do you see?
They've been struggling lately for sure. I think it is a big part in it, and they've been giving up too much pressure, and Iamaleava's been folding under that pressure, right? So I think Alabama does have an opportunity to control the game in the trenches on that side of the ball, especially, I think you think about Tennessee's run game. It really hasn't been great when it comes to run blocking. It's just that Dylan Sampson has been so good. The interior has been more solid for Tennessee than the offensive tackle has. So I think Alabama, they have an advantage off the edges over the tackles, and they really need to rally and tackle Dylan Sampson because this offensive line, you're kind of right. It's not been at an elite level the same thing. So it really doesn't help when you're weak at quarterback and on the offensive line and you're based on running the football. If your O-line isn't playing well, it's going to show in the rest of your offense. That's what's happening with Tennessee right now.
All right, so let's go to this game. You've got Vegas thinks that Alabama's a 3-point favorite. If you add the home field advantage, you could really say neutral field, Alabama would be about a 6-point favorite. When you start looking at this game, breaking it down, what do you think this game, how will it be decided?
I think I'll give you the big matchup for me.
Yeah, sure.
The big matchup one is Alabama's offensive line. All those guys, ever since they've gotten Caden Proctor back, they've played a lot better. They have everybody on all the right spots now, and this is the front five we were expecting against a Tennessee defensive line that's just been fantastic. We know they have James Pierce Jr. as a superstar. Josh Josephs has been spectacular. Tyree West, and they just have so much depth on the defensive line that's really the matchup where if Tennessee is going to win this game, they have to win in the trenches on that side of the ball and disturb Jalen Milroe. The other thing I look at here where Alabama's got a huge advantage, I think, is at quarterback. Again, look, Jalen Milroe last week struggled a bit. South Carolina's defense, that's an elite defense. I won't lie to you. They have a terrific defense, the Gamecocks do. But Milroe most weeks is going to bring an elite level of football, whether it's running, throwing, or both, right? Whereas Tennessee, I think if this gets to be a game outside of the range of maybe the mid-20s or lower in the scoring department, if Alabama gets to 27, 30 points, Tennessee's been struggling a lot in the passing game, and I'm not sure that they could win a high-scoring game with Alabama.
PFF has you covered all season long with the best data, tools, and analysis in the game. Sign up for PFF today. Unlock all of the famous player grades, premium stats, push to the playoff for your fantasy team, league as far as in-season tools, award-winning rankings from the fantasy experts, Nathan, as well as stay connected with a generation of talent with the best NFL draft coverage on the planet. No matter what you're looking for at PFF, has what you need in winning decisions all season long. Sign up for PFF today for less than $10 a month. PFF analyst right now, Dalton Wasserman, joining us right now to talk about Alabama and Tennessee. I also want to talk about Georgia at Texas. When you look at Georgia at Texas, what do you? Because I know you just posted this a couple of minutes ago. I'd love to kind of get a little bit of preview, and I'll invite people to connect with you and go and see the full length of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we got our Georgia-Texas preview up. We recorded it last night, and it's a fascinating game because you've got Texas, who kind of looks like the best team in the country right now for sure, but Georgia's got something to say about it. And I think one of the big questions with Texas is, moving into the SEC, everybody said, well, are they good enough in the trenches to play in the SEC? I'll tell you right now, absolutely. They are good enough to play in the trenches, and the biggest factor in this game for me for Texas is how good their offensive line is. They're our highest-graded pass-blocking team. Guys like Kelvin Banks and Cameron Williams up front. I actually do think one of the biggest advantages in this game is Texas' offensive line against Georgia's defensive line, who has a lot of big names, but they haven't always played elite football.
And that's the conversation when you look at it. Georgia, I mean, is this a must-win game for them when you look at me? Because, I mean, I know 2 losses don't bury you, but you start kind of chasing the wins. They've still got to go to Ole Miss, and they also still have Tennessee on the schedule.
Yeah, it's tough to say it's a must-win because it's on the road against the number 1 team in the country, but it takes away the rest of their breathing room when you talk about they still have to play a rivalry game with Florida. They still have to go to Ole Miss, and if Ole Miss can figure it out by then, they have to play Tennessee. And even the end game against Georgia Tech there, Georgia Tech's a spunky team, too, that could give them some problems. So it would be a huge win for Georgia. I actually agree. I think there is more at stake for Georgia in this game. I don't see I don't see Texas getting to 3 losses in the regular season, honestly, with the rest of the way their schedule is. The game at A&M at the end is interesting, but I think there's more at stake here for Georgia trying to avoid that second loss with a couple of tough opponents still to go.
Vegas has it at 5. Where does Dalton have it at? Do you think Georgia can find a way to win?
Ooh, they can find a way. I'll tell you, I picked Texas to win the game, but somewhere between 3 and 5 is about right for Texas. If Georgia's going to win this game, Carson Beck has to be special. He's gotten hot since the second half of the Bama game. The last 2 games, he's gotten raging hot in the passing game, and they've really found it. That's the one thing I felt there was some optimism coming out of that Alabama loss is, you know what, that second half, Carson Beck was just letting it rip, and they were finding success. So, look, the last 2 opponents, Auburn, Mississippi State, not great, but he's gotten hot over the last couple of weeks. He's playing an excellent secondary, a very much improved secondary for Texas. If Carson Beck is special, if he's that first-round guy that some people still think he is, he'll be the one to win this game. He's got to have the best game of his career, I think, to win this game.
What's the other games that grab you in college football this weekend? Something that, grabs you from a local perspective or a national perspective, anything that you're kind of glued in upon?
I'll give you 2. I think that LSU Arkansas game
I was about to ask you that. That was literally, I mean, it was on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't want to box you in. But I'm glad you went there. Go, man, go.
Oh, no, look, no, I think Arkansas is very, very dangerous. I was impressed by what I saw from LSU's defense last week, and it's been a problem over the last year and a half of them giving up too many big plays in the passing game, but they limited Ole Miss in the passing game. It was the big reason that they won the game, and Garrett Nussmeier just finds a way to win the game, but that Arkansas team is a good football team. I got to be honest, they're 4-2, and they're a couple of razor-thin margins from being 6-0. They feel like probably they should be 6-0 between an overtime loss to Oklahoma State and a game against Texas A&M where they just didn't execute in the fourth quarter, right? Arkansas is a very good team. It's another big game in their home stadium, and LSU, you know what? They're good. They're number 8 in the country, but they have not shown themselves invulnerable. I think that's a very dangerous game for LSU, and I'm going to flip over to the Big Ten real quick.
Okay.
I love this game. I love this game that we're going to see from Nebraska and Indiana. I think Indiana is such an awesome story. Nebraska is a very good football team. It's a very consequential game, too. I'm telling you right now, if Indiana wins that game against Nebraska at home, they're a legitimate playoff contender. They really are. It sounds crazy because they're the Indiana Hoosiers, but you're talking about a road there if they beat Nebraska where they could get to 10, maybe even 10 wins or maybe 11-1. That's a fascinating game to me in the Big Ten. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, man, college football, the chaotic environment. We had a coach on yesterday, and he said, I would hate it as a coach, but I'm enjoying it as a fan. I'm sure you're probably seeing that at PFF, the amount of interest in college football, the growth of the game, because a lot of fan bases that were, they were done in September or early October. Now, with a 12-team playoff, there's a lot more teams engaged.
I love it. You know what? We've never seen a year like this because of the structure and the playoff and all of that, but I absolutely love it. I've been dubbing it the season of chaos anyway, but I just love the fact that we're going to get to the last 3 weeks or so of the season. I got to be honest, I think you're going to see 30 to 35 teams relevant in the playoff race between conference championships coming down the pipe and then at-large bids, if teams can get in that 10-11 win range. And then, honestly, even the group of 5 race is going to be so fascinating when you talk about Ashton Jeanty and Boise State, and Army and Navy are currently undefeated. You got some other fun stories at that level. It is going to be you thought the first half of the season was fun. This is going to be a fascinating second half of the season. We've got stories like, we got the big teams like always. We got Georgia and Texas and Bama, but we also have stories like Indiana or Pittsburgh or even a team like Syracuse or SMU or some of these other teams where it just feels like now with a 12-team field, so many more teams are involved for so much longer. And honestly, anybody who says, they think it's going to water it down or bad teams are going to get in the playoff, I don't care. These are going to be great football games, especially that first round played at home stadiums.
Dalton, I want to take it back to you and promote PFF.com. You guys are involved with a lot of podcasts, but the analysis we love. And by the way, the social media team is pretty incredible, man. Love the graphics coming out. And, maybe I don't have time to focus on every single thing, but I love the graphics. It ties me back to PFF.com. Take as much time as you need. Promote everything that you're involved in, please.
Oh, yeah. No, those guys, you mentioned that graphics team and the social team, too. I've seen them work in person. They do an incredible job. All the different things that they have going have my head spinning. But, no, me personally, we got all our written content online, all of our fantastic analysts for both NFL and college. We even have a CFL guy in there if you're interested in that sort of thing. But all of our written content, the PFF Plus subscription, like you mentioned, less than $10 a month. You can see all the data that we see. And then me personally, Sunday mornings and Tuesday nights, we have our review and preview the college football show. Myself and Max Chadwick go over all the big games in both of those. And I'm actually on the PFF NFL show with Trevor Sikkema as well. He's our lead NFL guy. Obviously, everyone knows him as the draft analyst. That's on Mondays at 1 Eastern, 12 Central on our PFF NFL YouTube channel. And then we have the PFF College Football YouTube channel as well. That's Sundays early and Tuesday nights at 6 Eastern and 5 Central, and we go over all the games. We've got the Bama Tennessee preview up right now if you guys want to go watch that.
And that's available at PFF.com. You can also find him on the Twitter account. Appreciate you, man, as always, for being a part of our show. And it's at PFF_Dalton, at PFF_Dalton. Find him on the YouTube side of things. Find him at PFF.com. Him and Matt Chadwick on the College Football Show. Hey, Dalton, thank you again for your time, man. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Absolutely. You have a good weekend. Thank you.
You do as well. Thank you here on the Wednesday edition of The Game as we move on. Boulevard. 205-758-2455. The Nukes Q sandwich, the number one sandwich across the franchise. The French dip sandwich, one of my favorite. The club. You know what's better than the club? The double club. Close enough that you could smell the championships. Nukes Eatery, 205 University Boulevard. 205-758-2455. Nukes Eatery, catering from a small party to a large corporate party, 5 to 500. 205-758-2455. Go over and see our great friends right there. All the Nukes Q pizzas and the California styles, many different options there to choose from. Salads, California style pizzas, sandwiches. Nukes on University Boulevard. Let's continue with more phone calls. We go to JR in Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Ryan. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, you have some kind of timing. You know, how many times have we talked that I've had a needle in my arm?
Oh Lord, I don't know. But are you getting an IV right now?
I'm getting lab work done right now. They're drawing blood.
Okay. Well, ask her if she's an Alabama fan.
Okay. Right now she's a vampire.
Oh, she's a vampire. Okay.
She's drawing blood.
Okay. Well,
she's dressed like a vampire. It's not appropriate for a lab work person.
Okay. All right. Well, you want to give me a score, JR, where you can get back to your medical procedures?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll do that real quick. Okay.
All right.
34-20. 34-20.
Okay. 34-20, and then Bama rushing yards total.
199.
Okay. All right. Well, best of luck to you, JR. Hope all.
I'll try to talk with you. I'll try to call. I'll call with you and talk with you more later.
Okay, sounds good. Day. All right, thanks, JR, calling us from a lab. Let's continue with more phone calls, and we go to Mary. Mary, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Just trying to plug along the day.
Almost game day.
It is, and this Tennessee-Alabama game is special for a lot of us that follow these two programs.
Yeah, we were actually in Knoxville a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not that impressed by the town. No,
it's a nasty town. It really. I mean, I'm not saying that from an Alabama perspective. It's just not a very clean town. I mean, you go through and it looks. You turn 2 blocks away from the campus, and you're fighting for your life. Yeah.
The campus area is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you stay on campus, but if you go 2 blocks away, you're
And everything's orange.
And that makes me sick at my stomach. You know what I mean? It's kind of a sick feeling.
But for my score, I think I'm going to do 35-27.
All right, 35-27. Alabama rushing yards. Where do you want to go?
I'm going to say 115.
115. I've got you. Hey, Mary, anything else?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thank you. Roll Tide to Mary. All right, listen, we've got a couple of lines available. We're doing a Southern Ale House score prediction day. Southern Ale House score prediction day. We're going to run through those prizes, but we do have 2 lines available. If you want to jump in, we just cleared Mary's line. So if you want to jump in, 205-342-9904. Doing a big giveaway and the grand prize giveaway that will be at we won't do it at the end of the season, but we'll do it towards probably the spring. Sometimes we do it in the summer right there. We love a little basketball contest as well. But home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Let's go to Blueberry Steve in Montreal. Blueberry Steve, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hi, Ryan. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain too much, a little bit. Okay. So JR took my score.
Oh, he did? Well, then you beat him on the tiebreaker, man. You beat him on the tiebreaker.
And the reason that I wanted that score was because that was the score of last year. Remember?
Okay.
34-20.
All right.
Remember 34-20? I sent you a text. I sent you a picture of me at the bar in Knoxville. Can I tell that story today? Or
you sure can. No, you sure can. Go for it. Let it rip.
I can tell it tomorrow. Okay.
It's up to you. Tomorrow we're going to do some favorite memories of this Tennessee-Alabama game.
Well, that was my favorite. It was awesome. I was in Knoxville on business, and I went for a bike ride before the game, and I rode by Calhoun's. I wanted to go watch the game at Calhoun's, but there's no way I could get a seat. When I was driving my bike by in front of Calhoun's, I saw this young lady wearing a Bama shirt. She was the only one. But getting back to where I went to watch the game, I sent you a picture of me. I wore a polo shirt, and then under my polo shirt, I had my Roll Tide shirt. Beginning of the game, I took off my polo shirt, so I was the only one wearing I was the only one wearing any Alabama gear in the car.
Well, what did they say to you? Did they hit you with a little curveball?
They were nasty. they were nasty, especially the way that the first half ended. It was horrible, Ryan. It was horrible. I was so depressed. They were giving me the gears, and especially when they found out that I was from Canada. They said, "Why are you an Alabama fan? Why are you an Alabama?" I said, "Because they're the best team in the world." And I shouldn't have said that at the beginning because, oh my gosh, I got so much grief, man.
Blueberry Steve, how did you become an Alabama fan? I mean, did you? I mean, have you been an Alabama fan for a long time, or what was the story like?
Since I was an Alabama fan since I want to say 2016, 2017.
Okay.
It was because of Tua.
Okay.
It was because of Tua. A really great friend of mine, she's from Samoa, and she told me about Tua, and I watched. What really? I mean, I became it. I want to say 2016, 2017. He started off when the 2017 game. What was it? 2nd and 26. Remember that?
Okay.
Was
yeah,
that
sure. 2nd and 26 was 2017.
Yeah. And I mean, I was a fan of his the whole season, but him and Jalen and the whole thing, and yeah. So anyhow, long story short, I don't want to take up too much time because I know there are people who want to get in. But I left the bar where I watched the game at halftime. So depressed. Got back to my hotel just in time to see the beginning of the second half. And oh my goodness, what an amazing second half that was.
It was.
Oh. The only thing that I regret to this day is that I didn't go back to that bar at the end of the game.
You should have.
But probably,
you should have.
Yeah, but maybe it was better for my health that I didn't. I don't know. I mean, the people, they were giving me the gears, but they weren't threatening me or anything. I didn't feel threatened, okay? I didn't feel threatened. But, yeah, what a great experience that was. So that's my...
All right. Blueberry Steve, I'm ready for your score. What do you think, man?
I'm telling you, 34-20.
Okay, you're going to stick with that, okay?
I'm going to stick with that, but I'm going to go 180 rushing yards.
Okay, he had 199, so you're going 180 rushing yards for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yes.
Blueberry Steve, Montreal, Canada, thank you, man. Appreciate you as always.
Okay, man. Roll Tide and roll MAGA, and I'm gonna be signing off, listening to you until 6, and then I'm gonna be watching her on trying to answer Brett Bear.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if she's able to do that. I wouldn't.
I think she will. I don't. She's a joke. Okay, roll Tide, buddy.
I think most people agree. Blueberry Steve, thank you, man. Blueberry Steve, Montreal, Canada. Let's go to Elias. Elias, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, my friend.
Roll Tide, Ron. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Roll Tide to you. Roll Tide to you.
Yes, sir. I was trying to get you on Monday. I know you ran short of time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I just literally ran out of time. I saw you up on there's about 3 callers that we were not able to get to.
Tennessee hate week.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, here we are. You got this Tennessee Alabama game, 3rd Saturday of October, that was turned bitter because of Philip Fulmer, and I guess it's once it went bitter, there's probably no way to get it out. And what helped it go bitter is, beating them 16 years in a row.
Right. And I feel this game this Saturday is really going to define who our team is for the rest of the season. I honestly think that. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think our guys are going to pull it out.
Okay. All right. What you got for me, Elias?
So I have the good guys 27, Tennessee 21.
All right, 27-21. Bama rushing yards. Where do you want to go?
Let me go with 158.
158. I got a 27-21, 158. Elias, I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide right back to you. 205-342-9904. Hey, I'm seeing some of the scores come in on via the app and also on Twitter. We only take those the old-fashioned way. There's no way to keep up with it on the app messages. Too many to keep up with, and that'd be a lot of chaos. So we do it the old-fashioned way. We do a score prediction contest. We have people call in and, give us a little bit of not just 27-2 and, hang up. Give us a little bit of analysis of why you think it is. So I see scores coming on the app. So I know listening up to us, Bama 6-4-5-3 up in the Bluegrass State. I appreciate your message. I even like your score, but give us a call if you want to jump into the score prediction contest. Mitchell, show them how it's done, my friend. I hope all is well.
Ryan, everything is good, but I hadn't had a good feeling since Saturday night when the South Carolina game ended. As you probably saw, I sent you a text on Sunday asking you about who would be favored, and I really expected Tennessee, the Hillbillies at home, to be about a 6.5, 7-point favorite over our Tide.
You're nervous, aren't you?
I'm very nervous, Ron. Obviously the experts in the desert know more than us and everybody else. But I don't know what team they've been watching. I mean, Ron, I guess the only thing that I can hang my hat on is maybe here in the last 3 or 4 weeks, maybe we somewhat play either up or down to our competition. That's the first half against Georgia, obviously Vanderbilt. If we played down to our competition, maybe we were thinking it was the old Vanderbilt. I mean, them guys are 4-2 and cruising along, and then South Carolina, I can't put my finger on it. But Ryan, I can't bet against the Tide or pick a score against the Tide.
All right,
but I don't really.
If Alabama's going to win this game, Mitchell, where do you think? Because I asked Alton Wasserman just a couple of minutes ago, PFF, about where he thought Alabama needed to play better at. Where's the one unit that you say Alabama can win the game, but they got to play better here?
I think it starts with the defensive front, right?
Amen.
We're giving up gashing holes on a basic handoff. No tricks or nothing, no kind of RPO, just a basic handoff and the guy runs for 20-plus yards. The defensive front's got to, we've got to just stop all this, just gashing us like that. But obviously I'll be watching and I'll be hoping and probably sitting on pins and needles until the clock reads 0-0-0. But and also I think our secondary Ryan's got to we got to get back to making some big plays and pick some balls off and force some turnovers and all that. But
you go back to the front seven, tackling better, linebackers need to tackle better, defensive line.
Sure.
We have not had trouble getting there. We've had trouble getting players on the ground. We've got pressure on the quarterback, but get him on the ground. That's been our big issue. It's like we get there, but then we miss a tackle. And that tackle ends up making a third down, and we flush somebody out, and then they're able to pick up positive yards. That's the area that we've struggled.
Right. Now, and with Tennessee, they were cruising first part of the season, although the competition wasn't that great. But they go to Arkansas and lose. They score 14 points and then just quit scoring. Who does that sound like? Alabama. And then last week, a bad Florida team at home in Knoxville, Florida, took them to overtime and probably should have won the game, So it's I think both teams are just kind of it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde mentality. You really don't know which team's going to show up and which team's going to make it happen. But by saying that, let's go Crimson Tide 41, the Orange and White Hillbillies from Crapville 38.
Okay, 41-38, and then we go rushing yards for Alabama.
Let's go 177.
Okay, 177. 41-28, 177.
No, 41-38.
That's what I got. 41-38, 41-38, 177.
Oh, I thought you said 41-28.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, 41-38.
Yeah, 41-38. And memo to the Orange and White Hillbillies. Unfortunately, you're still next. Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler.
Roll Tide. Let's continue with more phone calls. 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. Let's break here. We'll come back. We're going to get Dale. Also tweet that out on our Twitter account and also on Facebook. So connect with us there. You can do a simple search for my name, Ryan Fowler, Ryan C. Fowler on the Twitter, and then on the Facebook side of things. So we'll put that up at 7 o'clock. Remember, coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll have the Hey Coach portion from 6 to 6:30. 6:30, the Kayla DeVore Show right here on Tide 100.9, live from Bob Baumhower's with the play-by-play and the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Chris Stewart coming up at 6:30, 6 o'clock, Hey Coach, 6:30, the Kayla DeVore Show. Let's continue, and we go here to Dale. Dale, Mountainville. Dale, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well, man.
All is well, my friend Brian. Ryan, I feel good today.
Good. Hold on a minute. Dale, you're not supposed to feel good. This is not Friday.
Well, let me tell you why. Can I brag on myself a minute?
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah. You can brag on yourself.
Well, I went to the doctor last week and done an echocardiogram, and it came back 100% great. My heart's in great.
There you go. Well, hey,
man.
Maybe we should all start doing that before football season. You know what I mean? Like testing us to make sure we're okay. Because, if you got heart issues, Alabama football or college football in general may not be the place for you.
Or maybe just get one after the Vanderbilt game.
Oh, Lord, it wouldn't have been good then. I got to do a stress test, too, now coming up. So that definitely, and let's hope my stress test is okay after the Tennessee game.
Well, you got to do it so you got to do it or medically or on the treadmill?
Medically.
Well, no, but the stress test, they can do it medically where they give you medicine to ramp up your heart.
No.
You do it on the treadmill. Really okay, yeah.
He didn't tell me. He just said I got to have one done. I hadn't done one in so long, But it's a good report anyway, Ryan. I'm glad, I'm happy and relieved about it. But, I am concerned about this game, and it's, I guess, as normal. And let me tell you why.
You're confident. I mean, I like this, but
yeah, I think we're going to win the game, but I'm concerned about their defensive line. Their defensive line is very strong, and that linebacker now, that's a big key injury. That 26-year-old linebacker that was from BYU that went off to a mission field and was gone for a long time, came back, that's a grown man. And they're not going to have him. He's out with an ACL injury. That's a big injury. Because when he went out, if you notice, Ryan, if you watched the Florida game, they ran right up the gut on Tennessee some. And, their line is pretty good. Their defensive line is pretty good. But I noticed that Florida, when they wanted to, they could run right smack up the middle. Did you notice that, or was that just me?
I know. I think we watched it. I was watching, if there is one good thing about YouTube TV, okay, if there's any one good thing about YouTube TV, I put up 4 different games. I was watching Kentucky and Vanderbilt on one corner. I was watching Tennessee and Florida on one corner, Ohio State, Oregon, LSU, and Ole Miss on the same screen. So that was a benefit for that evening. But I kept watching the Tennessee-Florida game a lot because I wanted to see what we were up against. I'm going, man, Florida's having success. I mean, they're having success. I mean, this Tennessee team got out of rhythm. It was almost similar to what we did against Georgia in the second half. They went to Norman, Oklahoma. Josh Heupel's returned to, his alma mater, and it was almost like they lost their mojo. The next week, they won that game 25-15. Then they turned around the next week and lost to Arkansas on the road. Then they went back home and they played. So, it's almost like not that we had that fast start, but in some ways we did. I mean, they were scoring 60, 70 points, and then Brent Venables showed you, hey, this is how you go after this Tennessee offense. And they did.
Well, and Oklahoma had like 100 receivers that wasn't playing in that game and still ain't. I mean, they're challenged, I mean, with all the injuries they've had on offensively, and then the quarterbacks, didn't work out for them either. I mean, there's a lot of problems offensively with them, so. And they've struggled ever since they've been in SEC play, Tennessee has. I mean, that quarterback, but we got to put pressure on him. We can't let him stand back there and pick us apart, because him and any other SEC quarterback is going to do that if we don't put pressure. And, again, we're one of the lowest teams in putting pressure on the quarterback. I think we said that before, man. It's because we're not sending blitzes. We got to take some chances. And I hope Pete Jr. don't decide to just lay back and let them do that to us, man. That's my biggest concern, that we just let him sit back and throw at will and don't go after him, because he's shown under stress that he can make mistakes and not be as efficient. Just saying,
All right, Dale. With all that being said, where you want to go?
Well, my wife, Kelly, gave me a score, which I probably would have said something different, but she gave me a score, and I'm going to go with what she said.
All right, talk to me.
28-17. I probably would have went more like 21-17.
Okay, 28-17. Okay, this is a credit to Dale's wife. If she wins, she's going to get the prize package. She's probably going to get the roses anyway. You can get the calendar. You guys can split the water, and you can take her to Southern Ale House.
Yeah, my granddaughter wanted to meet you the other day. If you would have been able to go to the little gathering that we.
I was busy. I was busy at 4:30 on Friday. So.
Yeah, I see that. Hey, I love Jumbo to death, though, and you do too. So,
We like to aggravate him, though. We like to aggravate Jumbo. Jumbo scheduled a group gathering for 4:30. And you know what it is Jumbo's old, okay? Old people eat dinner at 4:30.
Right.
That's what it is, Dale. I mean, it's just, 4:30 people, senior citizen clubs. I mean, that's a prime, dinner time, 4:30, because they're in bed by 7. I mean,
yeah.
So
that's right. That's me. You're describing me right there. Really, I hate to say that, but And Jumbo, he's kind of the same way, and we're much older than you, Ryan. You're still a young man. You and Josh, y'all are the young group. So
yeah, that's okay. Well, I mean, Josh has got me by a little bit, but all right, here we go. Let's go.
Rushing yards.
Yep, rushing yards for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I'm gonna go with 185.
185. Guy got it, man. Hey, Dale, appreciate you as always. Thank you again for being
but Laura, I really hated not getting to see you. She listens to you all the time after the school, so.
Well, cool.
Maybe one day you get to meet little Laura.
Listen, I will make it happen somehow, some way. Promise.
Yeah.
So.
When we make that happen, if we go to Big Mike's or something, because she just lives right down the road, so. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. All right, we've got to go back to phone lines, 205-342-9904, 205-342.
The prearranged questions, right? I mean, she can't even get because Faux News gave her she knows it's coming. They're not going to make her look bad.
You're not a big Fox News guy? You're not a big Okay.
No.
You're more of
it's better than the others. It's better than the other stuff to listen to.
You like Caitlin Collins on CNN? Is that
no?
Okay.
Of course not. I don't watch
Rachel Maddow on MSNBC.
Are you talking about Reggie Madcow?
She's got a lot of like a conspiracy of everything. She talks down the audience like she's like a first grade teacher.
I think it's Keith Olbermann in drag.
Oh, that's an option. That's an option.
That's strong, isn't it? That's strong right there.
It could be.
She looks like Keith Olbermann. I'm telling you, man.
No, don't insult
I think Keith. Anderson Cooper just dyes his hair and switches networks.
There is some freaks on that side of the ticket, are they not?
Oh, Lord. The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. You don't know nothing about that. That's from the Skate Center. That's back in the day when you're skating out there and the freaks come out at night.
Yeah, now I could see you as a. Did you go backwards a little bit on the skates? I mean,
hey, look. There was a time. This is classic right here. I was a rink guard in 8th grade.
Okay.
Which is the guy that wears the official shirt.
Sure.
Like the
referee. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'd come rolling in there, and if there was a little hottie that I was interested in, and there were some other guys talking to her, they might have to sit out a song or two.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah.
So you're admitting that on the air. I mean,
of course. I don't think it's
okay.
I don't think I'd be prosecuted for that.
Okay, all right. So illegally, I mean, they did nothing. You just told them to set this song out, Junior.
I'm like, well, I'd blow the whistle. You had a whistle. You'd blow the whistle and you'd point.
And
and then point. You got to get on over there and sit down.
Yeah, to be a skate guard, you had to be pretty good up on the skates.
You had to be a good skater. You got to be a little bit of an athlete, Oh, it was fun.
So did you
middle school?
Did you go with the cone or without the cone?
What do you mean by that?
Well, like the people that couldn't skate, they would push around the cone. You know what I mean? Like to keep up. I don't know if you guys ever had.
They have a cone. They have like a little. Looks like a walker type thing.
Yeah,
that the kids learn how to do.
Listen, we were from poor Blount County. We didn't have the fancy equipment. Okay, we literally. Okay, so no, this is true statement. Okay, we had the cone. Like the traffic cone. We
you mean that Tennessee orange cone?
Yes, a Tennessee orange cone. That was it. The ones that couldn't skate, you had the cone. That's
right. That's right. Did you have the cone?
No. But I could never do backwards. I could stay up on skates. I was pretty decent.
Could you get into the line dancing with the skates?
No. But, we did this. What was the game that you would? I mean, this is really going old
Red
school.
light, green light?
No. It was the bar, and you would try to go as like
limbo.
Maybe that's what it was.
It's limbo.
It's limbo. Okay, I mean you're a skate guard, so I mean you would.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean,
let me tell you this, Fowler. As soon as you showed up, and if you had shorts on with those white legs, you'd be getting the whistle.
Oh yeah.
You'd be getting the whistle immediately. You'd be getting the hook over the thing because you'd have all the kids and the mothers and all crashing into each other and everything. The fun thing was that also, by the way, I used to hate this, where they would do air guitar contests. And they'd get the people pretending to play and have their song. And I just remember you talking about Darwin and survival of the fittest. That's where you just need to come in and wipe all those people out right there because it'd just be a better planet without them on it. But anyway, I like Tennessee fans.
Okay.
Jackson needs to be on point here because we're gonna have him in here on this about Tennessee hate. Before we get into that, the guru, Tony Franklin.
Okay.
That was a really good interview yesterday, and he hit on some stuff that was right on point that I don't think a lot of people know. First off, I know you and I had talked about this before, and I don't know if you knew it or not and how I discovered it or whatever, but that Vandy basically took New Mexico State's coaching staff and a couple of their best players and stuck them in their offense. Took the head coach, took the offense coordinator, took the quarterback, took a couple of the players off the offense. And what's Vandy doing?
They're winning.
There's another team that has done the exact same thing, and they're undefeated. Curt Cignetti at Indiana. He took the JMU, James Madison, took the quarterback, took like 20-something kids off that team, the entire coaching staff, and what are they doing in college football right now?
They're winning. I mean, you never thought I'd see Indiana win.
No. Indiana, and he said it. I think he's the one that said it, but I'm with him. The only game, if they beat Nebraska, Ohio State, I think, is the only game in their way. They're playing for the Big Ten championship.
And Tony Franklin said that. He said, "Listen, if you're one of the big teams, you're unhappy. If you're one of those teams, you're through the roof." He said, "As a coach, I'd hate it, but as a fan, I'm loving it. The ratings have got to be off the charts." When I took it, combined ratings, because it's just chaos. It's designed. This is where it's designed to get here.
So I've got YouTube TV too. I was watching the same 4 games you were watching, and the only game that did not come down to the final possession, the final play, was the Georgia-Mississippi State game, and they were in a brawl all the way through it. So like the final 2 minutes of the game. You know, when the TV, when ESPN and Fox shell out the money to the conferences that they're shelling out, it's only paid for by what? Who pays that ultimately? The sponsors, right?
Sure.
The sponsors pay it. That's going through. They cannot have that product collapse. They cannot. They can't. So I think everything you've been saying about this awful officiating, how can you explain the Miami Virginia Tech
this week at the SEC office? I don't know if you heard me.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah,
that was great. But did you say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I told them that we're watching them.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't give them a name, but we can call them.
Well, that's good. You didn't do that. Yeah. People might, no one knows me, so I could leave a blistering thing.
All right,
but they wouldn't.
Jackson, fire up that SEC number that I gave you the other day, the SEC official number. All right, he's gonna. You want to leave a voicemail to him?
Sure, why not?
You can go by I don't know. I mean, Tommy Thunder or something. I mean, okay, hold on.
I'll go by Patty Cake.
Okay.
Inside joke there for you and Garner and some other guy.
Jackson's. All right, go ahead, Jackson. Tony, I'm not going to talk. Tony, you talk. So when the voicemail picks up, you leave the message. All right, here we go. Did you hit star 6-7? Okay.
Thank you for calling the Southeastern Conference. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time. For the ticket office, press 1. For officiating, press 2. Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for officiating. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Skanky. This is Bama Nick, the number 1 caller in all of sports talk radio. We're watching you. We know what you're doing. And you better start calling some penalties on the teams that play against Alabama and not just Alabama, because you're just up the road. Ow!
All right. We're good? Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Thanks.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good. It's good. Skanky.
If you give me some time, I'd come up a little bit more. But he's sketchy skanky.
Yeah, he is.
Isn't he?
Yes, he is. Oh, man, he's...
Well, hey, if Texas keeps being good, he may start hating on them instead of us.
No. Look. The SEC wants either Georgia or Texas to be the face of the program.
They do. Yeah.
Even if you look now, the SEC network runs the commercials. Every time the SEC champion is shown in football, is shown to close out the commercial, right? Who closes out the commercial now?
That'd be the University of Alabama.
No, it's not. It's Kirby holding up the national championship trophy. Watch it. It's not Alabama. And they show all the different schools and all the different things, and it closes out at the end. You think it'd be Alabama in the SEC championship holding up the thing? It's not. It's Kirby holding up the trophy.
You little son of a guns.
Well, it's what they it's what they want. They got,
I mean, we are the king of this league.
They hate it. They hate that. Look, the state of Alabama still is pretty negative. People have a negative view of the state of Alabama. Up east, where all the academic, high-end CEO type and all that. Yeah. I'm just telling you, all your media is Northeast, right? But that's primarily the bastion of where your media comes out.
I don't know if you even call them media. Do you call them media?
No.
They're activists.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Or whatever going through. But, the elite, the academics, they look down upon Alabama. They look down upon the state of Mississippi. they don't necessarily look down on the state of Georgia. And
because
that's why
they went woke in this last election.
They've been, because they've got a really big city, and they've been woke, and they got burned down, and there was a lot of things. They've been forgiven, kind of. Alabama's never going to be forgiven, and trust me, I lived through it in the 70s. How difficult it was to win a popularity vote contest at the end of the year for a national championship.
That's one of the reasons why we've never won 3 in a row.
That's right.
We won 64 and 65. Should have won 66. They couldn't give it to us.
What about 77, 78, 79?
That was just first example. Yeah.
I mean, that's 2 potential three-peats that should have been won in back-to-back decades, and we didn't do it. I mean, it's just fact, people. And Roy Kramer that you talked about earlier, you need to hate Tennessee. And I love what you did to fat Phil Fulmer. Because he is a scumbag. He was a scumbag to Johnny Majors. He's a scumbag to anyone around him. He's a pathetic POS. And if you don't know what that is, look up slang terms. But that's what he is, Well,
and really, if you look at Philip Fulmer, I don't know if I should tell this story.
And Doug Dickey. Thunder Thornton and the whole crew up there.
When you look at Philip Fulmer, he went and hired Jeremy Pruitt out of spite of the University of Alabama. And, I
don't think Phil Fulmer was the athletic director that hired him. I think he came into being athletic director once he was hired. I think, didn't Hart hire him?
I'm pretty sure it's Philip Fulmer.
Okay.
Because the only reason I know is Coach Stallings, the week after he was hired, asked me on the air because he couldn't. And I had to call Philip Fulmer. I had to call Philip Fulmer and ask him to call Coach Stallings. And I had to be nice on behalf of Coach Stallings to say, please, yes, Coach. I mean, because he called me out on the air. He said, you have Philip Fulmer's number? I said, yes, sir. He goes, call him. I've been trying to get in touch with him and ask him to call Coach Stallings, and I did. I can give you Philip's number if you want it. You want
it? Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell me what to hit, star whatever, before the SEC when he comes looking for me, because he's definitely a mobster. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, that guy. But where does Philip Fulmer, where does Doug Dickey, in case people wonder who that is, that was the athletic director of Tennessee, who turned down the SEC commissioner job and allowed Vanderbilt's Roy Kramer to come in, and Roy Kramer has been tied to Tennessee ever since that. They all live in the same town.
And people that do not understand, and people that worship Roy Kramer as a commissioner.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you, in 2016, I've told this story. I'll never forget. I'm never going to say the people's names. But people that covered Alabama, they just went goo, goo, gaga over him. And I mean,
there's a lot of media hate for Alabama.
And I'm just sitting there praying that maybe the hot dog doesn't go down
the right way. That's right.
And
that's right.
I'm the only media member that knows the Heimlich maneuver, and I ain't doing it.
And you're blocking him. You're not letting anyone get to him.
Yeah.
No.
I know I had to
how
ask
many
for
times have we been
that,
put?
But I don't like the guy. I don't generally like to cuss on the air. This week, I have to bite my tongue a lot.
Let it flow, Fowler. Make it feel good. Let it flow, bro.
I hate that.
Come on, let it flow.
I hate that bunch. Okay, I literally.
That's not strong enough.
No, I know, but I'm trying to clean this up for the radio. Okay, because of what they tried to do to the University of Alabama. They wanted to destroy
what they did do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what they accomplished.
50 scholarships
but really,
in 10
what
years.
they wanted is a death penalty, and they almost got it.
Yeah. So they tried. I mean, look, who's suffered too? What major program
and to stomp a mud hole in their butt for 17 years?
That's right.
Woo,
that's
baby.
Right. Nick Saban rubbed their face in it and made them like it.
He double burned them. He double burned
him.
The real hobnail is Alabama from the kneeling.
He double burned him. He looked at him. He said, "You take this," and that's why we should be forever grateful to Nick Saban. We always will be, but that is one reason he stopped him. I mean, even when they believed in 2016, all them hillbillies come together. You had Philip Fulmer, Roy Kramer, Peyton Manning, and they had to sit there and watch a freshman quarterback by the name of Jalen Hurts beat them 49-10. It was from the opening kick to the last kick, and Nick Saban called the dogs off after 49-10, and they were ranked in the top 10. They were number 7th in the country.
I was there, and I was on the last row in the lower bowl in the Alabama section, and the Tennessee people were right behind me. And their confidence level is sitting there, and they just, all the grins on their face, they're just looking at me like, oh, they couldn't wait. And they were all heading out before halftime. They were hitting the freaking aisle, and I loved it. And they were
but see, the problem was Roy had to stay up in the box. He couldn't leave, and Philip Fulmer couldn't leave because there was some kind of presentation, and Peyton Manning couldn't leave.
That's right.
And they had to sit there and watch it, that beatdown in front of their eyes where they couldn't leave. Oh yeah. My Lord, that was one of my.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
The fans were exiting in front of them all. Hey, I know we got to get the score here and all that, and just between you and me, I need you to answer one question for me before I give you my thing. If I
I'm
give
an undecided voter, and I haven't decided who I'm going to vote for.
Okay. I'm. This is what I want to know, and you can look it up because you've got the stuff there really quick to do it.
Okay.
Who has faced the better group of offenses in the first 6 games of the year? Is it the teams Alabama played, which I cannot believe that. Georgia might be the only thing, and their offense is not good. I don't think we faced the team in the top 50 in offense.
Well, that would take some time. That would take
or Tennessee. It doesn't have the thing on it. That's what I want to know, because what is, their strengths are our weaknesses in this game. They rank, let me make sure I've got this right here. This is some stuff that, when we win this game, this is what we need to know we have to overcome. They are 13th in the country in total yards. We're 38th, and our offense is easily the best thing we've got. They are 11th in rushing. You know what we are in rushing defense?
Not very good.
90th. In total points, they're 9th in the country. We're 10th. Guess where we are defensively in total points allowed this year against crappy offenses?
Where?
165th.
Georgia's the highest offensive team that we've played. Wisconsin's second, and they're 53rd. Georgia's 27th.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one. I was told they hadn't faced a team. So I don't think they faced anyone with an offense that's in the top 50 either. Tennessee's faced some awful teams offensively going through. It all is going to come down if we can stop their run or not. Because if not, we're going to be chasing points, and they're going to be working clock like Vandy did. Not as well as Vandy did, but going into that.
Western Kentucky's 66. All right, let's go through their opponents. Who do you think the best? I may not have time to do it all here. Ooh, Oklahoma.
I don't know. I can't think of one team that they
126.
Yeah, they're awful. I'm just glad we were able to get through the 2 easy games in the SEC, so we can have our team right rolling into the end of the year. Right, Vandy and South Carolina.
Florida's 59th, and they gave them fits.
Yeah.
Let's go Chattanooga. Let's see where Chattanooga is.
Oh, don't even look that up.
Well,
don't even look that up.
Okay, but
the whole thing that we're going to have to play. We're going to have to do what we don't do.
Arkansas's 8th. Arkansas's 8th on total offense.
And they're tied with Tennessee because I've got total.
Yeah,
Tennessee?
Tennessee's 9th. There's literally a 0.3 of a point difference between Arkansas and Tennessee.
I've been to a lot of games. I'll try to call in tomorrow to tell some stories about some games that I've been to up there since we don't have a score contest going on there.
Well, yeah,
I think the wrong team's favored in this game.
Oh, Lord, don't do this.
And I don't get it. you know how I am when I pick teams, right?
Okay.
What kind of death sentence do I give teams when I pick them?
Oh yeah, you're really good. All right. Go ahead, Tony.
Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to say it, or can I just not give a score?
I mean, we've already called the SEC office. We've thrown it around. I mean, we've got the ABIs looking on us.
Here's to you, Skanky. I'm not going to give a score. I can't do it. I hate Tennessee. I'm scared to do it. I'm not going to give a score. I apologize.
Soft.
I am soft. I got too much Bammer in me.
The Pharmacy at Midtown. The Pharmacy at Midtown, TJ Thomas. TJ Thomas, The Pharmacy at Midtown. Also, Dockside tonight, Cajun Gumbo, seared mahi-mahi. Oh, yeah. Parmesan grits.
Those cold tips, a little Cajun Gumbo.
I wonder if I could get this gumbo in a to-go. Because, see, I'm home.
I've already ordered it.
I'm home alone.
They sell it by the pint.
Oh, they do?
Sell it by the pint.
Okay.
And it's good for a week without having to freeze it. And after that, you need to put it in there for a week.
I'm home alone for the next. Oh, yeah. My wife's at 2 conferences. She went to San Antonio for 4 days, flies directly to Boston, hangs out with the libtards up at, what's the little place outside of Boston that's
Cheers?
No, it's like Cape Cod or what's the Martha's Vineyard
Martha's Vineyard, where Obama
we ship the immigrants,
the illegals back. Yeah, there you go. Tell them, Jackson. What'd they do, Jackson, in 48 hours?
They shipped them out.
Yeah. So
they brought the National Guard.
My wife was like, meet me in Boston. I said, no thanks, darling. No thanks. I'll just wait for you to get back at the airport.
That'd be like going to a Taylor Swift concert. I'm out.
Yeah, that's not for me. They don't agree with me, and I don't agree with them. So,
well, just remember, if you're soft, PJ has something for that.
The Pharmacy,
Big Richard.
Midtown. All right, Tony, be good. Roll Tide.
Hey, I'll try to talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Roll Tide.
Thank you. If I keep talking to Tony, I'm no longer going to be an undecided voter. We'll go to Keith in Carolina next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. But it'll help me make my decision. Keith in Carolina. Keith, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan. Been a while, my man.
Good. As an undecided voter, you need to watch it too, Keith.
Yeah, I've been listening to that. I might pick it up and see how bad it is. Oh, man.
You're a farmer. I don't even have to ask you where you stand, brother. I don't even have to ask you.
Nope. It's been a weird year. I tell you what, it's been a while since I called in.
It has been, man. I'm glad to hear you. I looked at a couple of days ago and I was thinking about you for some reason.
Probably something to do with steak, I'm sure.
It was. I go down to Mark's Mark, get one of those big ribeyes. I'm thinking, yeah. So,
it's been an up and down year so far. Anxiety level is very high.
Well,
can you still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can. I might want to get a score because you keep fading in and out, Keith.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm way out.
You're okay.
I'll give you my score. Alabama 42.
Okay.
Tennessee 27.
All right, and then your rushing yards is where you want to go.
207.
207. Now we can hear you pretty good. Well, good. Roll Tide to you, man.
Roll Tide, Ryan.
Thank you. Keith in Carolina. Keith's been a long-time caller of our program. Let's go from Keith to Tommy in Romulus. Tommy, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ron. How are you?
I'm good. Ooh, you don't sound very good.
I'm not. I'm in lockdown.
You got the Democratic flu?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yes.
Ooh.
I just got tested for it this afternoon.
You know how to get you a doctor with some gonads?
Well, we need to talk later.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh, I got plenty of doctors that've got gonads. I don't see doctors without gonads. Get you some of the stuff that works that they say don't work.
I know, but I can't. It's a back order on that stuff.
No, you just got to go to the right people.
Well, that's why we need to talk later. I guess I wasn't supposed to say that on the radio.
That's okay. I'm not in. Listen, if it helps people,
yeah, we need to talk. Yeah,
yeah. You need to go to a doctor, and this helps you pick the doctor in the future. Like these doctors that are chicken crap, put them on the road, man.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my brother on the verge of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you need one that looks after you.
Yeah. But
so.
Yeah, I'm locked down till Saturday. So.
All right. Well, I don't know all your medical, but yeah, maybe I can give you a good reference to a couple of different physicians that'll help you. And I mean, there's stuff that works. We're so chicken crap around here with the medical community. And I understand why the government holds licensure over them and all the different things. But hey, Tommy, give me a score. What do you think, man?
Alabama 38, Tennessee 35.
Okay, 38-35, Bama rushing yards?
201.
201. All right. Well, I guess the vaccine didn't work, Tommy, is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
38-35, 201. I got it. Thanks, Tommy. Hope you get to feeling better, man.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. Bye.
Tommy Romulus. Get you a doctor. It's got a little go-go juice. Let's go to J-Rob Montgomery. J-Rob, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler. You know one thing. Nothing sucks like a big orange.
No, it doesn't. Nothing.
I cannot stand those toothless hillbillies. And I love this week. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. But let me go ahead and give you a score.
Okay.
I know we got a lot of folks waiting, so I'm going to get off the line. So we'll go ahead and give it to you and get off.
All right.
My score is 38-28.
Okay, 38-28 and Bama rushing.
181.
181. I got it. 38-28, 181. J-Rob Montgomery, thank you, man.
Roll Tide, Ryan Fowler.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Let's go to Henry out in Texas. Henry, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon, Ryan, and Roll Tide from Texas out here.
Yes, sir.
I want to give you a prediction, 30-20.
Okay.
144.
144. Got it.
And this is what I do want to say this. I heard a little bit of what Martin was saying, and I kind of caught the end of this South Carolina game.
Okay.
If our defense, if Womack let them guys loose like they did at the end of that game of South Carolina, everything that Martin said about him throwing the ball away is going to come true. That kid ain't going to be able to handle that kind of pressure.
Yeah. I wonder if they're saving a few of these things because, we've already had a defensive coordinator admit that they were saving some few things, but, we'll see. We'll see. But, Henry, I got you, man. Let me get to this break, man. We got to Thanks. Thank you. We do have two lines available. If you want to jump in, today will be the final day for the score prediction presented by Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, Southern Ale House Dockside. Look like some great gumbo. Brett Garner's cooking up some awesome stuff up at Dockside. You can find the original location, all the great biscuit sandwiches, the options that you're looking for. It's two locations, the original location. Let's go to Captain down in Daphne. Captain, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well. Hey, Captain, going once, going twice. He's gone. See you later. Let's go to Danny. Danny, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Danny.
Have you noticed how similar the two teams are the last 3 weeks that they played?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we both got embarrassed by inferior opponents.
It's odd. It's so odd.
And then with both teams last week stuck it up at home, and both teams were fortunate to win. Both teams ought to be undefeated. I mean, this ought to be this ought to have been just right up there with Texas and Georgia, but it's not. So we got to play the game. I'm hoping that we could I would show them the film of them rushing the field 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they fire him up. Hey, Danny, I'm just about out of time, man. Throw me a score around here.
35-34 us with 160.
160.
Rushing yards.
All right, I got it, Danny. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Brady here in Tuscaloosa. Brady, good afternoon. Go quick.
Hey, Fowler. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the first time I'm ever doing this. I'm picking against Alabama.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't feel good about it. I'm gonna be at this game. Give me Tennessee 31, Alabama 24. With Alabama 145 rushing yards. I hope I'm wrong, Fowler. Hope I call back and say I'm gonna eat some crow. Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna serve it to you, man. Thank you.
All right. Roll Tide.
Right back to you. Let's go 205-342-9904. Bama Nick. Good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan, pal.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, pal. I'm doing all right. Let me give you a score real quick.
Okay.
It's Medicare season. I just got in.
You're fine.
Give me Bama 28-24.
Okay, 28-24, and then tiebreakers Bama rushing yards.
Right. 134.
134. I got it, man. Thank you, Bama Nick.
Yeah, all right, Ryan. I'll try to call you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Let's go to Ellis, Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan, the picture you put on Facebook of Fat Phil,
yeah,
it looked like his titties were lactating.
Ellis from the top rope.
Ellis, give me a score before I get out of here.
I've already got it. I done it yesterday.
Oh, you did?
I just had to call in and say that.
Oh, you did. 38-24. I got it. All right. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Ryan.
I don't even know what to say, but yes, Roll Tide. We need you on those front lines. We need you.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you believe. Roll Tide. All right. And oh man.
End on a banger.
6 o'clock. Hey Coach portion starts 6:30. Caitlin DeVore show. We're going to air both of that right here on the flagship home of Alabama Crimson Tide football. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm speechless because I put up a photo, but I asked for it. Philip Fulmer's a guy that's tried to harm our university multiple different occasions, and anything we say about him will never equal what he's tried to do to the University of Alabama. I hope we stomp a mud hole in him. Hey, I'm going to be live at R&R Cigars tomorrow. I want to thank our sponsors each and every day for allowing us to be a part of our show. We want to thank our law enforcement officers, EMTs, firefighters, first responders, highway patrol. We thank you. We remind you that we call this program The Game, and the only way that you win the big game, the game of life, is to walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town.